You. Upon hearing Qin Xiang's words, Jing Shuangzi became speechless. His momentum immediately weakened a lot as he said, "Humph, today I will take you down." You. Upon hearing Qin Xiang's words, Jing Shuangzi became speechless. His momentum immediately weakened a lot as he said, "Humph, today I will take you down. Take me down and claim my credit, right? I'm truly a mediocre commoner. With such a strong desire, I've lost my face for nothing." Qin Xiang laughed in ridicule. They all knew that Li Baojun was not someone to be trifled with, and since Qin Xiang was strong enough to be able to kill Heaven Thunder Devil Lord, they also knew that their great clan elder was someone they could not see through. All the big shots in Purple Moon Imperial Land had died, and the people of Purple Moon Imperial Land had not thought that their unity would stabilize, but instead wanted to fight for the position of leader. Especially Tian knew, because she was a beauty with extraordinary strength, her prestige was very high, and she was also sought after and supported by many. She felt that if she could defeat Qin Xiang, the position of leader would belong to her. That's only you using an evil technique. Today, I will let your evil technique be exposed so that the world can see your true appearance. 2 purple long swords appeared, transforming into 2 purple clouds that pierced towards Qin Xiang's throat and one of his eyes. Qin Xiang carried his hands behind his back, and 2 fire dragons surged out from his eyes. Facing the 2 swords, the fire dragons swallowed and spat out flames, accurately putting the 2 swords into their mouth. As the flames disappeared, the 2 treasured swords had already turned to dust. I use an evil technique? But I didn't enslave rogue cultivators to work hard in the Heaven Thunder Purgatory, right? I didn't steal the storage bag of a rogue cultivator, right? Instead, I saved them, but the Heavenly Emperor of ZU angered you. He wanted to kill me, but his skills were inferior to others and he was killed. Who can you blame? Bullsh *T. Jing Shuangzi was infuriated. His treasured sword had actually disappeared in an instant. Today, I will definitely capture you all. Boasting shamelessly. Qin Xiang sneered. Jing Shuangzi gritted his teeth and suddenly took out a huge purple rock. Upon closer inspection, it looked very much like a stone tablet with many ancient spirit grain carved on it. It's the Purple Moon Sacred Tablet. It's actually in the hands of this little girl. There is an ancient jade in the Tong Tian aristocratic family, and there is a sacred tablet in the Xing domain. They are all very powerful things. At this moment, Jing Shuangzi's confidence soared and his face was filled with pride. Having obtained this item meant that she had gained the leader's favor. In front of the sacred tablet, you have no power to resist. Jing Shuangzi's jade face turned cold as she activated the power within the sacred tablet. Her long hair danced wildly, and her jade face was heavy. Her beautiful eyes glowed with a purple light as her body overflowed with purple light. Right at this time, the sky suddenly darkened, a purple moon hung high up in the sky, the purple light released by the purple moon all gathered on Qin Xiang and the others. Seal! Jing Shuangzi shouted, and that round of purple moon's rays of light exploded forth. A large purple formation appeared, and a purple and profound spirit grain flashed with a blinding light. The terrifying pressure caused many people to feel slightly frightened. The purple array formation seemed like it was going to destroy the earth. It smashed down fiercely from above Qin Xiang and the others' heads. Great Mountain River Formation. Qin Xiang stamped his foot on the ground, causing the ground to tremble violently, and the powerful innate qi in his body surged like a flood into the sky. The vast divine power arrived along with it, and in the dark sky suddenly appeared a mountain and river picture that was tens of thousands of meters long, with countless large rivers surging and surging torrents like the roar of thunder. The power of the mountains and rivers shook the world, concealing the stars and moon, completely displaying the might of the earth, intimidating all the living beings in this world. No matter how powerful the Saint Tablet was, the person who used it did not use all of his power. The power of the formation was greatly reduced, as though a purple moon had been blocked by the mountain and river diagram that Chen Xiang had released. Jing Shuangzai's expression was serious. His purple skirt and black hair were wildly dancing, and the sacred monument in front of his chest was emitting a purple light. She was using the purple moon diagram to confront Chen Xiang. It's just an adaptation of the celestial slaying method, there's nothing to be proud of. Chen Xiang saw through some of them, and the qi on his body immediately soared. Innate qi erupted, like a dragon erupting from his body, it soared up and danced in the sky. Great void stellar seal and it. Above the purple moon array, there were suddenly dozens of phantoms of giant stars. These phantoms of stars formed a large array and their strength was even stronger, flas. Hi+ing with multicolored light, as they swirled and fell, the rich power of the stars roiled and surged, falling from the sky, SMAs. Hi+ing the purple moon until it exploded and dissipated in the sky. The appearance of the great void star seal greatly changed the complexions of many of the giants. Jing Shuang, seeing this incomparably powerful star seal cruise, Hi+ing down with unstoppable force, felt an incomparable surge of fear, but it was already too late. The great void stellar seal turned into a big hand in the air. The big hand was made up of numerous star shadows, carrying an earth-shattering power as it pressed down towards Jing Shuangzai. Boom! A deafening sound rang out. Jing Shuangzai was completely enveloped by the giant hand print. In the midst of the rumbling sounds of destruction, he was turned to as H. Plus at the same time, the green dragon demon-slain broadsword appeared in Chen Xiang's hands. He flew over and slashed at the purple moon divine tomb on the ground. Brat, don't be too arrogant. Brother Han, let's capture them together. The one who spoke was Feng Quan, an expert of the Feng clan. Hong Kong was the same. He was a ranker sent by the Flying Immortal School. Feng clan, do you want to join hands? If you two were to make a move against me, you would be the first one dragon subduing school will kill. Chen Xiang looked at the two rankers fearlessly. Who do you think you are? So what if he said he would wipe out? Hong Kong jumped down and stood by Chen Xiang's side. Chen Xiang controlled the dragon vein. What would happen if he killed Chen Xiang? Feng Quan shouted, "Stop talking nonsense with him, attack!" Chen Xiang and Li Baojun looked at each other. They knew that it was not their turn to take action now, so they just stood there, not moving. Feng Quan was like the wind as he rushed towards the white tiger. The berserk energy on his palm struck the air at an extremely fast speed, causing waves of explosions. To be able to attack a white tiger, wasn't that just looking for death? Chen Xiang and Li Baojun sighed in their hearts. The white tiger had not acted this entire time, but its expression was indifferent as it watched from the side. Now that there were two such powerful people attacking them, Chen Xiang and Li Baojun definitely could not handle it. They're dead for sure now. A person sighed. Feng Quan's palm was extremely terrifying. Just the force of the impact was enough to split the entire street, and just as it was about to crush the white tiger's head, the white tiger's palm suddenly extended, and actually wanted to receive it with its own palm. You're courting death. Feng Quan felt that the white tiger's actions were very imaginable. The power in his palm became even more berserk at that moment, and he exchanged blows with the white tiger. The two palms collided. Bang! 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 The sound of bones breaking resounded like a cannonball. Feng Quan let out a miserable scream, and at the same time, his body flew backwards. He raised his palm towards Feng Quan, who was flying towards the end of the street, and a burst of strong golden light suddenly gushed out of his palm. The golden light turned into a furious golden dragon, and let out a dragon's roar that shook the skies, and like lightning, penetrated Feng Quan's body. He raised his palm towards Feng Quan, who was flying towards the end of the street, and a burst of strong golden light suddenly gushed out of his palm. The golden light turned into a furious golden dragon, and let out a dragon's roar that shook the skies, and like lightning, penetrated Feng Quan's body. With a boom, Feng Quan's body exploded. When the crowd saw this scene, the shock in their hearts was hard to describe. Everyone looked at the white tiger. Although he looked ordinary, he was actually so powerful. Judging from his expression, killing Feng Quan was as easy as mowing grass. He didn't even blink. LV Qinlian's forehead was covered in sweat. She suddenly felt that the white tiger was the person that she was afraid of back then in the Golden Yang building, the person who was also the one who had killed many experts at the auction. This person was actually together with Qin Xiang, and he was an elder of the Dragon Subduing School. Hong Kong looked at the white tiger in fear, his body trembling. He knew that the person in front of him could kill Feng Quan easily, or even kill him easily. The white tiger looked at Hong Kong, its two eyes suddenly turning pitch black. Hong Kong screamed miserably, as he fell to the ground with his eyes wide open. Being glanced at and dying, many of the big shots from the ancient powers looked as terrified as Hong Kong, who was already dead. They all escaped towards the location of the Three Realms talk, because they believed that the Imperial Dragon race would definitely be able to stop the three terrifying people there. After Hong Kong fell to the ground, his body suddenly turned pitch black, as if he had been soaked in ink. Then, it turned dark again and disappeared. Qin Xiang and Li Baojun were overwhelmed with shock. They knew that these were definitely the laws of darkness, yet these mysterious laws of darkness could even destroy corpses and erase traces. There were many big shots sitting on their seats. Their faces were gloomy and uncertain. Some big shots had terrified faces. The appearance of the Dragon Subduing School was truly unexpected for them, especially the great clan elder, whose strength was out of the ordinary. With just a few moves, he had killed 2 Heaven Realm rankers. His golden dragon robe had already proven his ident. One Tai. He sat there, looking at a book with a gentle gaze, and although he already knew about the Dragon Subduing School's situation, he was definitely not worried. Furthermore, the book he was reading right now had a lot of information regarding Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang, Bai Hu and Li Baojun had arrived, and there were no longer any empty seats. Qin Xiang glanced around the conference hall. There were many tables here. The square table only had 4 people, and these 4 people were all big shots from a different force. Behind the big shots were either some younger generation members or some elders. If one looked carefully, they would realize that it wasn't useless. There were still 3 seats in front of the Prince Imperial Dragon. That Prince Imperial Dragon took a table for himself, and he didn't allow anyone else to sit. Seeing Qin Xiang lock onto that table, everyone was shocked. Many people in the hall gasped slightly. They were now certain that Qin Xiang was the one who cast the Primal Chaos Dragon curse, and that the Prince Imperial Dragon was here for Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang glanced at Huang Jintian and the others' table. Huang Jintian, Lu Menger, Lian Mingdong, and the other leaders who represented a certain power sat at it. And Gu Dongqin, on the other hand, followed along and stood behind Huang Jintian. Ling Yulan was incomparably cold and gorgeous, with a head of white hair that made her look even more beautiful. Xue Xianxian was like a fairy from a painting, extraordinary and refined. Her face carried a tender and gentle smile, and the 2 junior sisters stood behind Lu Menger. Qin Xiang did not expect that Wu Qianqian would also be here. Although the former number 1 beauty of the Super Martial School had an ordinary background, she had met with numerous fortuitous encounters, and was also the successor to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. Unlike Ling Yulan and Xue Xianxian, she wore plain clothes, but her unique temperament made people feel that she was untainted by the mortal world. Wu Qianqian and Dongfang Xinyue had followed Hua Xiangyue here, but they did not look at Qin Xiang. They were worried that others would discover the relations Hi+P between them and Qin Xiang. However, at this time, a pure and beautiful sweet lady stuck her tongue out at Qin Xiang. That girl was Dongfang Jing from the Dongfang family, and was a very foolish girl. The many familiar faces that sat there made Qin Xiang sob. He had looked up to these experts in the past, but now, he felt that it was nothing more than that. When Chen Xiang appeared, the atmosphere was even more oppressive, especially when Chen Xiang was getting closer and closer to the Prince Imperial Dragon. Which power do you belong to? An old man stood up and asked. This old man was a Jin Yang Xing realm powerhouse. I am a leader of the Dragon Subduing School. This is my recommendation jade token. Chen Xiang raised the jade plate in his hand, but no one cared about the jade plate. Everyone was shocked by his ident. 1. Tai, he was really Dragon Subduing School. Big Bro has been making a living for a long time, but he actually didn't take care of this little sister of mine. Even the limelight has been blown away by him. Ling Yulan sent a sound transmission to Xue Xianxian and the others. She wished that she could join Chen Xiang's group. Stupid girl, don't tell me you didn't do well just by following me? Lu Menger scolded. Although the atmosphere was stifling, many people were secretly whispering to each other. Master Ancestor, you actually always knew that my master was leader. Gu Dongchen muttered. This guy is obviously here to cause trouble. I never thought that Dragon Subduing School's leader would actually run into a dragon. Huang Jintian laughed. Lien Yingxiao could not help but laugh bitterly. My son was dragged onto the boat by him. Golden Sun Saint Realm and Chen Xiang did not have any direct conflicts. At this moment, they knew that the great clan elder from Dragon Subduing School was very powerful. He had exterminated both Hong Kong and Feng Quan outside, so the big shot did not say anything. He just watched as Chen Xiang walked towards the seat of the Prince Imperial Dragon. Hong Kong, Feng Quan, and Ling Feng were already absent, so they only had 3 empty seats at Prince Imperial Dragon. The Prince Imperial Dragon sat gracefully as he read his book, but his entire body still carried a tyrannical aura. His dazzling golden dragon robe made Long Shui despise him ruthlessly within the ring. Behind Prince Imperial Dragon, there were 2 other people. They were 2 tall and stu. dy men with powerful facial features, their bodies overflowing with dragon chi. One look was all it took to tell that they were 2 dragons, but they were only the followers of Prince Imperial Dragon. Many of the great leaders could see that the 2 dragons under his command were much stronger than the Prince Imperial Dragon. They were in charge of protecting the Prince Imperial Dragon. There are 3 spots. Chen Xiang smiled slightly. Only the big shots could sit on their seats. The 3 men from Dragon Subduing School actually wanted to take all 3 seats. How tyrannical was that? Who are you? Do you think you are qualified to sit together with Prince Imperial Dragon? A big fellow said. His voice was like thunder, shaking the entire hall. A conflict was about to break out. Everyone stood up and retreated to the side of the gate, lest a great battle be affected. Prince Imperial Dragon calmly sat there and read his book. He did not even bat an eyelid, as if the things surrounding him had nothing to do with him. He looked extremely ennobly. Seeing him like that, Long Shui angrily wanted to slap him a few times. Prince Imperial Dragon calmly sat there and read his book. He did not even bat an eyelid, as if the things surrounding him had nothing to do with him. He looked extremely ennobly. Seeing him like that, Long Shui angrily wanted to slap him a few times. We are not things, we are here to partake. 1. P8 in the 3 realms talk, but who are you? What does the matters of humanity have to do with you guys? Chen Xiang replied calmly. You ignorant fool, our imperial dragon race is the strongest of the 9 heavens and 10 earth. Our dragon emperor will soon rule the 9 heavens and 10 earth, becoming the new emperor. The big-sized man looked at Chen Xiang angrily. Wait until he becomes the new great emperor, then we'll see. Isn't he still not here? I am a leader of the Dragon Subduing School. I have come here to partake. 1 P8 in the 3 realms talk for our own matters. Chen Xiang said. You dare call yourselves dragons? The other man laughed loudly. Have you killed a dragon before? I've killed quite a few. I can't even remember how many dragons I've killed. His words caused many people to deeply doubt him. Only Long Shui knew clearly that the words of the White Tiger were true. The battle clan of the Big White Cat was the natural enemy of the Imperial Dragon race. I've killed one too. Chen Xiang laughed, his body trembled, and released a chi, causing Prince Imperial Dragon's hand to tremble. Dragon slaying chi. It is a unique aura that only exists after killing a dragon, Huang Jintian said. Everyone was shocked. Chen Xiang had really slayed dragons before. After a slight shock, the man said, "You only killed a few wild dragons, which is far inferior to our Emperor Dragon." "It's nothing." Chen Xiang laughed out loud. "So that means the reason you 3 Emperor Dragons appeared here is for me to cut them down. Great." After saying that, he sat down on a chair. "You are courting death if you dare to sit here recklessly." The man roared and struck towards Chen Xiang with his palm. His arm turned into a red dragon claw, and the flames from the dragon power were extremely terrifying. The entire hall was suddenly as hot as a furnace. At the same time, the White Tiger also extended a dragon claw, but it was a black one that was filled with terrifying killing intent. The moment the White Tiger attacked, that killing intent immediately swept away the heat in the hall. When the White Tiger's black dragon claw reached out, it was like a terrifying black hole that swallowed everything. When the fire dragon claw came into contact with the black dragon claw, it was like an ice cube touching a flame, melting instantly. How reckless! The White Tiger's dragon claw suddenly grew larger, pressing the burly man into the ground, pressing him into the center of the claw. The burly man didn't even have time to shout before he disappeared. The other burly man's expression changed. The Prince Imperial Dragon stood up with an angry and shocked expression. He looked at the White Tiger and asked solemnly, "Who are you?" "The great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School." Then, he sat down with Li Baojun. Now it was Chen Xiang's turn to remain calm as he sat there. Seeing how the White Tiger suppressed the strong, he became even more desperate for power. Out of the 2 dragons brought down by the Prince Imperial Dragon, one of them had actually died without even leaving a trace. Huang Jintian took a deep breath and said, "Just now it was a very strong dragon slaying Qi. This great clan elder of the Dragon Subduing School has indeed killed many dragons. Let the 3 realms talk begin. I want to see what tricks you all have in mind." Chen Xiang said, then took out his green dragon demon-slain broadsword and placed it on the table. The eyes of many people lit up when they saw the divine blade. They all wished that they could snatch it for themselves. "This is my Imperial Dragon race's divine weapon. It has returned to its rightful owner." Prince Imperial Dragon's hand moved like lightning, grabbing towards the hilt, but it caught onto empty air because the green dragon demon-slain broadsword had instantly disappeared. Chen Xiang laughed. "I heard that the 3 realms talk wanted me to hand over the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Let me tell you this right now, if you want my blade, you have to kill me first. This blade does not belong to your Imperial Dragon race. If you want to snatch it, then you should know the consequences." Chen Xiang looked at the book in his hands. The Prince Imperial Dragon calmed down, then sat down and looked at Chen Xiang and the White Tiger. He now had to look at the Dragon Subduing School from a new perspective. He previously thought that this Dragon Subduing School was just a joke. He thought that he could solve it after bringing 2 powerful dragons down, but who would have thought that one of them died just now? Everyone returned to their seat. The strength of the White Tiger had completely intimidated the Prince Imperial Dragon, and the conflict could not occur again. This was because the Dragon Subduing School had complete and total strength to destroy the Prince Imperial Dragon. What we are discussing today is the peace of the 3rd region, but this has nothing to do with this dragon. He's not from this world, so it seems like he's here to cause trouble. Huang Jintian said. "Yeah, just now they said that they would rule over the 9 heavens and the 10 earth. Isn't that destroying the peace?" The patriarch of the blue blood race, Lan Guang, said. This person only wanted to sit down but wanted to take his life. The Golden Sun Saint Realm leader was a yellow-haired old man wearing a golden robe. He stood up and said, "The main reason is because of the various powers seizing the territory and resources. Currently, the resources of the demon realm and our human realm are relatively small, so we need the powers of our human realm to give them a fair share." The patriarch of the devil race said, "Although we are a large power in the devil realm, we can at most control our own people and not cause trouble. If the other devil cultivators do not have the resources to cultivate and attack the human realm, this is not our business." "Then doesn't the dragon subduing school have a dragon vein?" "That is a super crystal mine." One of them sneered. "No matter how big the dragon veins are in my dragon subduing school, they are still unable to compare to the mines occupied by your Xing domain family. If we add them all up, the combined strength of your sparite vein is far greater than the power of my dragon subduing school's dragon veins. Do you think?" Chen Xiang glanced at that person. It was a member of the Ying family. The demon realm does not lack resources. Furthermore, half of the spirit demons are in our demon realm, half of the spirit demons are in our demon realm, but we do not have any relations. I plus P with the evil demon, so it is easy for the powerful evil demon to incite them, and giving them resources is useless. LV Qinlian said. Spirit demons were more tame and could completely change into a human. Evil demon was half human, half spirit demon. Our Churn Martial continent does not have much resources, we only have enough for ourselves, and we do not plan on seizing other people's land, but right now, some ancient powers are actually occupying land 1,000 times larger than ours, so for resources, it's fine if we, the small powers, are unable to protect ourselves, but those ancient powers are the ones who say that. You guys don't have many people either, so there must be a lot of sparite vein here. Give some to Devil Realm and the others. Huang Jintian sighed. Otherwise, if we fight, Demon Realm and the others would definitely not dare to attack the big powers. The suffering is still just because of us, the small forces. Everyone looked at each other, especially the big shots of the ancient powers. It seemed like they did not plan to help Devil Realm, but they actually wanted to squeeze them out from those small powers. Everyone looked at each other, especially the big shots of the ancient powers. It seemed like they did not plan to help Devil Realm, but they actually wanted to squeeze them out from those small powers. Why did Tian shatter in the past? Wasn't that the doing of these traitors? Now it should be up to them to compensate for the losses. Back then, when the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord commanded the 9 heavens and 10 earth, that was a prosperous and peaceful place. Duan Kong walked in along with a few other elders of the Duan clan. There were no seats for them here, as if they had already known that something like this would happen. They actually took out a wooden table and placed it at the entrance. The Duan clan was also a Tong Tian aristocratic family. Although they were a thorn in the eye of many ancient powers, they could not deny their strength and their understanding of that piece of history. Right now, these traitors are beginning to occupy the land, all so that after Tian forms himself, they can establish themselves as kings. At that time, even if some imperial dragon race's dragon emperor appears, they won't be able to be cured. They also had even crazier ideas, such as using that sacred sacrificed altar or whatever it is, to open up Pa's sages leading to other worlds and bring some powerful guys over here. Duan Kong's words made many leaders of small forces feel threatened. If these ancient forces were to do this, how would these small forces, be able to survive? The sacred sacrificed altar is the only way to settle the peace in the 3 regions. I admit that our ancestors wanted to use the sacred sacrificed altar to bring about destruction to this world, but now, if we want to resolve the conflict between the 3 realms, we have to go through the sacred sacrificed altar. The Qin family's heavyweight said. Why didn't you take out some spars and give them to the demon and devil realms? Instead, you have to rely on the sacred sacrificed altar. Who knows what the You are doing? Duan Kong said. Chen Xiang did not interrupt him when he finally mentioned the sacred sacrificed altar. Although he had always been calmly reading books, when Duan Kong mentioned the sacred sacrificed altar, he was slightly moved. It was obvious that he understood the situation in the sacred sacrificed altar very well. Sacred sacrificed altar can open a path towards a place where our ancestors stored resources. At that time, they knew that D Tian was going to be destroyed, so they placed most of D Tian's resources at that place. However, there are some people who want to destroy that sacred sacrificed altar. An old man said and looked at Chen Xiang. The fact that Chen Xiang used the primal chaos dragon curse to attack the sacred sacrificed altar was confirmed by everyone, although no one saw him do it at the time. This fellow is really patient. He actually didn't ask me about the chaos dragon curse. Long Shui was talking about the Prince Imperial Dragon, so she was thinking about how she should fight with him. The White Tiger said, "You are certain that the sacred sacrificed altar has a lot of cultivation resources, and not just a few powerful holy demons?" The White Tiger's words made many big shots tremble. Even Prince Imperial Dragon's face changed. According to what I know, the sacred sacrificed altar is not a good thing. It is indeed a switch that leads to some dimensions. The White Tiger had already displayed its strength just now, so many people believed his word. Duan Kong laughed coldly. "Do you need a very powerful energy to open that sacred sacrificed altar? You said that there are a lot of resources inside, and you said that when we go in later, you might be able to kill us or seal us inside. You ancient powers have always been unpopular, so how can people believe you? We do need to take out some very important things, but there are a lot of cultivation resources inside. We can swear with our blood that when it comes to the matter of the sacred sacrificed altar, we will not use any means." The Jin Yang Sheng's big brother said. Now that the White Tiger was here, they didn't dare to play any tricks. Furthermore, their tone of voice had become much softer. "You have to swear a blood oath, and you have to walk in front." Huang Jintian pondered for a moment, before replying. Then, he sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. "Brat, that sacred sacrificed altar can open a door to another SPAC. If they promise, we can give it a try." Some of the powerhouses were currently discussing with others in secret. "Senior, if there really is a saint devil or something like that, can you handle it?" Chen Xiang secretly asked the White Tiger. "No problem, I can now control the laws of darkness, my strength has increased by a lot. However, these traitors cannot be completely trusted," the White Tiger said. If the three regions matters were not resolved, the war would break out again soon. When the time came, the only thing the big heads could do was sacre the enemies, especially the Devil Realm, who was lacking in resources. The evil demon was too savage, and so the big heads could only barely suppress the Devil Cultivator and the other evil demon. Everyone discussed secretly and finally reached an agreement. They decided to open up the sacred sacrificed altar and go to that place that stored a large amount of resources. It was impossible to get the big forces to divide the sparite vein they occupied, and those small forces couldn't do anything to them either. Thus, they could only use this method to compromise, and when they reached that place, they could only rely on their own abilities to obtain the resources. In order to pacify the unstable groups, the big shots of the demon and devil realms had to return to the demon and devil realms and have the leaders send some of their men out to the world to take their resources. And they would go for a period of time as well, because according to the ancient powers there were a lot of resources stored inside. In addition, the various forces had also informed some of their disciples that they would bring them there. In order to avoid too many people, and also having a limited number of people, each force could only send 10 people. Even so, all of the Partic 1p, aiding 3 realms talks were very scary, but the majority of the powerhouses were the demon and devil realms because they lacked resources. The agreement to meet in 3 days at sacred sacrificed altar would be over immediately, and the ancient powers would go and arrange things, because they had sent the strongest big shots to lead the group of people there. The Prince Imperial Dragon actually wanted to go as well, but the ancient powers did not stop him. After all, he was from the Imperial Dragon race, and in the future, he might even become a Dragon Emperor. Chen Xiang and Prince Imperial Dragon did not clash as expected, they left the moment the meeting ended. However, everyone knew, Prince Imperial Dragon would definitely not let Chen Xiang go, but if he angered Chen Xiang would not let him go either. It's enough for the 3 of us to go. If that world is in danger, it'll be easier for the 3 of us to deal with it. The White Tiger tasted the fruit juice Li Baojun made. The other powers will definitely bring some juniors over. When we left, we had already arranged matters for the dragon subduing city, and this was also a chance for those little fellows to hone themselves. Li Baojun said. With Bai Zhan there, they will be safe. The White Tiger was extremely confident in this White Tiger fighting race's patriarch. If Bai Zhan was not able to deal with it, he could send out the entire White Tiger fighting race. Vote. 3 Realms talk was not finished, and was just using another method. If the world that sacred sacrificed altar leads to is not solved, then the 3 realms would still be in trouble in the future. 3 Realms talk was not finished, and was just using another method. If the world that sacred sacrificed altar leads to is not solved, then the 3 realms would still be in trouble in the future. Although Chen Xiang had only said through the 4 nirvana tribulations, his strength was already shocking to the point of being unparalleled. Adding on the power of the mysterious great clan elder, it made the entire dragon subduing school stronger, causing many people to ask about how to join the dragon subduing school. Heaven Thunder City did not immediately calm down. Originally, many people thought that once 3 Realms talks meeting ended, it would become very quiet, but suddenly there were sounds of fighting coming from outside the city. The location of the battle was extremely far from Heaven Thunder City, but the energy fluctuations that exploded out shook the ground and caused Heaven Thunder City to sway slightly. What was worth noting was that the aura was a dragon chi that many big shots were very familiar with. It erupted using the powerful dragon power. At the beginning, many people thought that it was Chen Xiang and Prince Imperial Dragon fighting, but in reality, it was not, someone else fighting the Prince Imperial Dragon. This direction seems to be towards the sacred sacrificed altar. Why is the Prince Imperial Dragon going there? The time to open the sacred sacrificed altar is not up yet. Chen Xiang said as he followed the White Tiger and Li Baojun to sacred sacrificed altar. At that moment they did not need to change their appearances. With the deterrence from the White Tiger before, no one dared to look for trouble because that would mean they were courting death. The sacred sacrificed altar was protected by a few dozen experts from ancient powers, and not far away from the sacred sacrificed altar, Prince Imperial Dragon, who was dressed in a golden dragon robe, was currently fighting with a burly man who was completely naked. His upper body was Hi+ning with a golden radiance, making him look like a golden man made of gold. Suddenly, his muscles contained a terrifying and mysterious power, and a violent aura gushed out from his pores one after another, forming a layer of radiance that shrouded his body. The Prince Imperial Dragon was very refined compared to the big-sized man. The big man's attacks were very violent. His pair of thick and long arms were like 2 terrifying giant golden hammers, SMAs. Hi+ing towards the Prince Imperial Dragon quickly and fiercely. Although it looked like he was using brute force, if one looked carefully, this kind of chaotic attack was able to suppress the Prince Imperial Dragon a little. Of course, the real strength of the Prince Imperial Dragon was when he had turned into a dragon. In his current human form, his power was not very strong. Why is the power used by this big guy so familiar? Suddenly, the image of a bald youth appeared in Chen Xiang's mind. Great strength races. Although the Prince Imperial Dragon has not used his own strongest power, this great strength race is still useless. Hearing the White Tiger's words, Chen Xiang nodded his head. Xiao Chou was his disciple. The last time Xiao Chou used a move that was extremely strong, he had become a huge giant. If the Prince Imperial Dragon became a dragon, then the big-sized man from the Great Strength race would also become a giant, and their strength would also be comparable. At this moment, there weren't many people spectating. Many powerhouses had returned to arrange matters, and only a few rogue cultivators with great strength were allowed to spectate. As far as I know, the Great Strength race has always been very ununited. If the Great Strength race was united, then this would be a very powerful force. Li Baojun said. The matters of the Great Strength race are also very mysterious. Although this group of people are very good at fighting, they aren't stupid at all, and many powers have looked down on their unity for many years. But you all should know, among all the human races, the Great Strength race is still very strong. The White Tiger said. Chen Xiang had asked Xiao Chou about some things related to the Great Strength race before, but Xiao Chou did not say much. However, Xiao Chou had still revealed a lot about the Great Strength race. For example, the Great Strength race had once gathered once, maybe they had already gotten back together. Great Strength race and Imperial Dragon race have always had a grudge. I wonder what kind of grudge is this? The White Tiger actually didn't know about this matter. When Chen Xiang was fighting with Xiao Chou before, Long Xue had also mentioned this matter. This grandson shouldn't know anything about the Chaos Dragon curse. Long Xue suddenly said. Why do you say that? Chen Xiang asked. The primal Chaos Dragon curse can only be inherited from the Emperor's mandate when a dragon is born. Long Xue said complacently. But this grandson's dad definitely knows how to use the primal Chaos Dragon curse, otherwise he wouldn't dare to call himself Dragon Emperor. You can pass it on to me, but can't his father pass it on to him? Chen Xiang looked at the fighting Prince Imperial Dragon in the distance. This Prince Imperial Dragon was indeed very strong. He felt that he was still a distance away from the Prince Imperial Dragon. Then the meaning is different. I was born to understand it. That's why he came down to investigate. If he could kill that dragon, then he will be able to sit firmly on the throne in the future. Long Xue snorted. Wanting to kill my future heavenly dragon Supreme Lord, this grandson is still too tender. Chen Xiang really wanted to let Long Xue out right now and let her have a fight with Prince Imperial Dragon. He wanted to see just how strong Long Xue was and how he would call Prince Imperial Dragon his grandson. The attack of the naked man was extremely fierce, but it was clear that he did not plan to fight Prince Imperial Dragon to the death. Both sides had kept a hand in the fight, and now they were only testing each other's strength. But the scene of the battle was extremely shocking. Suddenly, Prince Imperial Dragon's lips moved slightly. He was chanting an incantation, and one look was enough to tell that he was about to use his heavenly dragon seal. Crack! A thunderclap resounded throughout the sky as a streak of lightning split the sky and descended. It instantly struck the body of the burly man with a naked body, directly penetrating through his head. Chen Xiang had used this before, but this was specially used to deal with those who wanted to escape from the enemy with extreme speed. Now was not the right time to use the Flash Dragon punishment. The bald man's hair danced wildly from the hacking, and he suddenly became angry. One of his arms suddenly swelled up more than 10 times, making his body look very uneven, even though his body was also very tall and stur dysprosium. The gigantic arm didn't slow him down in the slightest. With a twist of his body, he actually avoided Prince Imperial Dragon's SHI plus Ning Dragon punishment. The gigantic arm was like a gigantic golden hammer, moving so fast that it left an afterimage in the air as it smashed onto Prince Imperial Dragon's head. Boom! Prince Imperial Dragon dodged the attack during the most dangerous moment, and when his fist landed on the ground, the force penetrated deep into the ground, causing it to explode underground, causing the ground to be like a fountain, spouting out a large amount of rock and soil into the sky. All of you stop, don't destroy sacred sacrificed altar. An expert from an ancient faction shouted. Everyone was just enjoying themselves, but Prince Imperial Dragon and the Great Strength Race stopped. They looked at each other with calm eyes, as if they had no hatred in them at all. Everyone was just enjoying themselves, but Prince Imperial Dragon and the Great Strength Race stopped. They looked at each other with calm eyes, as if they had no hatred in them at all. There are very few Great Strength Races in the Heaven Realm. I never thought that I would meet such an outstanding Great Strength Race here. If I have the chance to try again, you and I both know that we can't just go all out and fight them. Prince Imperial Dragon said lightly. That's right. The man nodded. Why don't we go into the city and have a drink? Looking at him, he seemed to be intending to befriend this young ranker from Great Strength Race. What surprised Chen Xiang was that the burly man from Great Strength Race had actually left with him. Haha, this grandson's mastery of Heavenly Dragon Seal is not good, otherwise he would not have used Dragon Flash punishment just now, maybe he only mastered this. Long Shui smiled proudly from within the ring. What's so funny about that? Chen Xiang said as his mouth twitched. He knew that the Prince Imperial Dragon would come looking for him sooner or later, because he knew the Primal Chaos Dragon Curse and the Heavenly Dragon Seal, and he also had the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword. Furthermore, the White Tiger had killed one of his followers. As the son of the Dragon Emperor, he doesn't even have the memories of a Heavenly Dragon Seal. And this was even taught to him by his father, but he has it since the moment I was born. Long Shui laughed. The White Tiger shook its head. What exactly is going on with this little demon from Great Strength Race? Has always had enmity with him, I can't forget it wrong. What's that? Maybe something happened in Great Strength Race, and I plan to reconcile with him, but there's a high possibility that I'll submit to him. Li Baojun said as he flew towards the Heaven Thunder City. Looks like Great Strength Race is going to intervene in this matter. That fellow from before could only be considered a junior in Great Strength Race, and the old one should be in Heaven Thunder City. The White Tiger said. When he returned to the Heaven Thunder City, Chen Xiang saw the big-sized man who was fighting against the Prince Imperial Dragon. He had changed into a set of extremely clean black clothes, looking like he was rich. You are Xiao Chao's master? The big-sized man looked at Chen Xiang and asked coldly. That's right? What's wrong? Chen Xiang never thought that this big-sized man would actually look for him. It's nothing. Xiao Chou said before that you are the strongest human among the young generation. I will definitely kill you. Because you are Xiao Chao's master. People of our Great Strength Race cannot have a human master. Furthermore, I want to obtain your Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword. Hearing that, Chen Xiang clenched his fists tightly and was about to attack. However, the people of Great Strength Race had no intention to fight him, and turned to leave. I am Xiaolong. I'll give you a little more time to raise your strength to my level. I don't want to kill you so easily. Chen Xiang sighed slightly. The people of Great Strength Race were extremely arrogant. He knew that Xiao Chou was the same as the others. This guy belongs to the Great Strength Race, but he has the Imperial Dragon Race's bloodline. What's going on? He had also noticed it just now. A Great Strength Race with the bloodline of a Imperial Dragon Race. Chen Xiang and Long Shui were both shocked. If this was the case, then this Xiao Long must be very strong. D-A-M-N-it, that little B-A-S-T. A-R-D Xiao Chou took me as his master, why did he kill me? Chen Xiang scolded in a low voice. But it's fine too, looks like Xiao Chou did not do well in Great Strength Race. It's all because of this reason that I killed him, and let Great Strength Race and the rest see him. Humph, those fellows from the Great Strength Race are becoming more and more unyielding. Besides having an arrogant mouth, it's just a fart. Have they forgotten how the sacred dragon lineage suppressed them back then? I never thought that great strength race and I would have a secret relations. Hi plus P, could it be that we have to lower our heads to Imperial Dragon race? Long Shui said in disdain, little scoundrel, why don't this Dragon Emperor take action and deal with both this Prince Imperial Dragon and this Xiao Long? The one being challenged is me, don't cause trouble. Chen Xiang didn't care about Xiao Long at all, but he was more concerned about Prince Imperial Dragon, because Prince Imperial Dragon knew how to win over people's hearts. He was worried that it wouldn't be long before Prince Imperial Dragon established a very powerful force in Dtian. It was already very difficult for Heaven Realm to come here, but Prince Imperial Dragon didn't need to use Nirvana Doom, so they could stay here for a long time. However, Chen Xiang was different. After crossing the 9 Nirvana tribulations, he would level up. 3 days pass, said by quickly, and those that partook. 1p. Aided in the 3 realms talk had already arrived at the top of sacred sacrificed altar. Other than that, there were also a few leaders of some small forces in the demon and devil realms who brought some strong subordinate. Each power could only send 10 people, and most of the ancient powers could only send 10 people. On the other hand, those who were familiar with Chen Xiang were somewhat surprised, especially Gu Dongchen and the others. However, Huang Jintian and the other Chen Martial Continent S could only bring 2 people with them. That place was unknown how dangerous it was, and Yun Xiaodao and the others had better places to cultivate. Chen Xiang did not want to bring them to danger because they were, after all, one of the few people in the dragon subduing school. Great strength races Xiao Long also came. He followed a tall and big old man, and their team also had 10 people. What surprised Chen Xiang was that the Prince Imperial Dragon was actually able to gather all 10 of them. Other than him and his follower, the rest were 8 burly men who looked like 8 dragons. Sacred sacrificed altar was extremely huge, and even if a lot of people were to stand on it, it would not be crowded. We've already obtained the offerings. Right now, all we need to do is to release our powers together and activate the altar's powers. We can open ASPAC gate and head to the place where our ancestors stored a large amount of Dtian's resources. An ancient powers leader said. In the middle of sacred sacrificed altar was a big pit. Those ancient powers had all thrown a few living fierce evil barbarian beasts. There were a lot of them. From now on, everyone just needs to release their own power. The sacred sacrificed altar will absorb your power by himself, and then open the S.P.A.C. gate. Heaven Thunder City had already been temporarily sealed off from the city, so no one was allowed to go near. Otherwise, they would be affected or even killed by the power of the altar. Everyone held back a little, as they did not release all of their power in one breath. However, this also caused the sacred sacrificed altar to flash with an extremely strong light, and from there, a black spatial gate appeared above the sacred sacrificed altar. That's enough, there is also a sacred sacrificed altar in that world. When the time comes, we will use the same method to return. According to the agreement, the first to enter was an Xian's ancient faction. They were leading the charge. Only after the ancient factions had all entered the SPAC gate did everyone begin to fly up into the sky. The SPAC gate was getting smaller and smaller as well. If they didn't hurry up, then it would close. Only after the ancient factions had all entered the SPAC gate did everyone begin to fly up into the sky. The SPAC gate was getting smaller and smaller as well. If they didn't hurry up, then it would close. In order to not miss the opportunity, everyone increased their speed and entered the spatial gate. Not long after, there was no one above sacred sacrificed altar. After entering the spatial gate, everyone landed on a very dilapidated sacred sacrificed altar. This sacred sacrificed altar was the same as the previous one, only the one here was very shabby, covered with weeds and covered with vines. Everyone looked up at the sky. It was no different from Dtian's, surrounded by mountains. However, what they were looking at was not spiritual energy, but immortal qi. Even though it was very thin immortal energy, it caused many old fellows from ancient powers to be extremely excited. They thought that it would take a very long time before they could absorb this familiar immortal energy. It's actually immortal qi. Could it be that because of the abundance of resources in this SPAC, it evolved into a higher grade SPAC? A person said excitedly. It's immortal qi, but this place is relatively spa. RSE. I think this place is similar to the heaven realm. There should be places with dense immortal qi. Maybe all of these are spiritual crystal. Chen Xiang's expression was solemn, because he felt that this place was extremely familiar. Many people noticed his expression, and he suddenly looked towards the big shots of the ancient powers. What's wrong? Dragon Subduing School of the Dragon Subduing School? An old man said, we aren't lying to you, right? What kind of expression is that? Chen Xiang shouted. You bunch of BASTARDS, this is the sacred Dan realm. You have the resources, but you have to be able to SNATCH away the alchemist here. When they had just arrived here, Chen Xiang, Long Shui, Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao were all very surprised. It was because the immortal energy here gave them a very familiar feeling, and also gave them a certain degree of gravity. This. Impossible, how could this be a sacred Dan realm? An old man immediately retorted, this world was created by our ancestors to store the resources on top of Tian, who is about to be destroyed. Chen Xiang originally thought that he would be very strong when he returned to the sacred Dan realm, but he never thought that he would actually come here in such a manner. That's why the sacred Dan realm is the heaven of the alchemist. I came here once before, I can't be wrong. Chen Xiang laughed coldly. If you don't believe me, go out and ask a few people. Chen Xiang had actually come to the sacred Dan realm. How did he do it? Many people now believed Chen Xiang's words. There's no need to look for him. Someone's coming. A lot of them. They're very strong. The white tiger suddenly said, these people are here in full fury. I think it's best for us to run. Many of them were relieved to see the great clan elder, Dragon Subduing School, but now that the white tiger had said such words, everyone's faces immediately changed. Elder Sister Mengers, if you are separated, you will find a place called Zilan Mountain Valley. The Valley Master's name is Yen Xilan and is very famous in Sacred Dan Realm. This Sacred Dan Realm is not simple. In the past I caused a lot of trouble here, and caused a lot of trouble. But those guys probably thought I was dead, but now. Back then he had said his skills to Yen Xilan, the Xilan immortal fairy, telling her to walk less of the detour in the divine way, so Yen Xilan would definitely help them. Little scoundrel, you have to take care of yourself. Since you have already grown to such a stage, I am very happy for you, but I am also very worried for you. Lu Menger sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. She had long antic. 1p. Aided that Chen Xiang would do something, but she had not expected it to be like this. An extremely terrifying aura came from all directions, followed by a dense crowd of people. The strength of these people were uncertain, and it was obvious that they had been guarding this place for a period of time. Otherwise, they wouldn't have arrived so quickly. This sacred sacrificed altar was surrounded by tens of thousands of people. When Chen Xiang first came to the sacred Dan realm, he did not have a complete understanding of the sacred Dan realm. Even the strong warriors at that time did not know everything about the sacred Dan realm, but the people who surrounded the sacred sacrificed altar were mostly strong, and now everyone understood why the white tiger said that he wanted to run. We came from Tian. Everyone, we have no enmity with you. An elder from an ancient faction hurriedly said. As long as it's someone from here, we'll kill them. An old man from the sacred Dan realm shouted. Chen Xiang hurriedly sent a sound transmission to Huang Jintian. Master, if you don't understand the sacred Dan realm, after you scatter, go find an old man called Du Hai. He is a person from the Du family. It should be very easy for you to find his residence. At this time, the people of sacred Dan realm had already rushed over. It's Qin Xiang. An old man suddenly shouted. As expected of this guy, he has been wanted by the sacred Dan realm for many years. I never thought that he would appear now. He has 7 Chaos Fire token, quickly catch him. There's also a bottle of holy water of Qianyang. Capture him, and we can obtain 5 trillion spars and 100,000 kilograms of immortal jades. The people from the sacred sacrificed altar were all shocked. They never thought that Qin Xiang could actually stir up such a big commotion in the sacred Dan realm. You bunch of bastards, all of you were played by the chaotic mountain. Qin Xiang picked up the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and slashed at the group of people plussing over, causing a wave of dragon power to surge out like a tidal wave. It struck towards the group of people and instantly swept them off the ground. It's the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Qin Xiang coldly snorted. If you want to capture this father, all of you are too inexperienced. As he said that, he rushed into the crowd and ruthlessly slashed a few times. Using the extremely powerful dragon power and the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, he set off waves of energy that swept away those who did not have much strength. Chaos Fire token is the chaotic mountain's most precious treasure. Since you stole 7 of them, now is the time for the items to return to their rightful owner. An old man suddenly appeared behind him, emitting an extremely terrifying aura. It caused all the ancient powers giants to be shocked. Old guys from the chaotic mountain, the Chaos Fire token is not yours. You were only worried about being killed by the Chaos Fire token, so you didn't allow anyone to obtain the Chaos Fire token. Qin Xiang immediately took out 2 Chaos Fire tokens and released a silver flame to protect his body. The old man from Chaotic Mountain originally wanted to give him a slap, but after seeing the silver flame, he immediately retracted his hand, his face filled with fear. Right at this time, Qin Xiang stepped on the shrinking step and ran towards a distant mountain. Disciples of the Chaotic Mountain, listen to my orders. Disregarding everything else, I will pursue and kill Qin Xiang with all my might. The old man shouted angrily, and tens of thousands of people immediately flew towards Qin Xiang, their shouts earth-shaking, extremely shocking. Until now, Qin Xiang had already assimilated 3 Chaos Fire token. It was probably because of this that he was able to see that the group of people just now were all from the Chaotic Mountain. It was just that he did not expect that if he ran, he would lure all the people from the Chaotic Mountain away. Until now, Qin Xiang had already assimilated 3 Chaos Fire token. It was probably because of this that he was able to see that the group of people just now were all from the Chaotic Mountain. It was just that he did not expect that if he ran, he would lure all the people from the Chaotic Mountain away. Hearing the words Chaos Fire token, the white tiger's body trembled. He did not think that Qin Xiang would actually get 7 pieces. He seemed to know about the Chaos Fire token situation. Leader has left. Li Baojun sighed. Being able to come to Sacred Dan realm is also not bad. This is alchemist's holy realm. Qin Xiang had just told them that they could go find Du Hai, the Dan immortal, and settle down. The White Tiger had already heard from Qin Xiang that there was a starry sky white tiger race in Sacred Dan realm, so he planned to look for him himself now. Sacred Dan realm, they seemed to be using spar as well. That brat probably bought quite a few high-leveled pills here, and then went back to scam others. Huang Jintian looked at Gu Dongchen and asked, "Have you brought enough spar with you?" Yao Shumi said, "I hope that we can find some undiscovered mines here. If not for Qin Xiang, we would have attacked them just now. Those fellows are very strong." LV Qinlian looked around. "I do need the resources in this place, but if I want to obtain them, it will be difficult. We can't go back for now, let's get familiar with this sacred Dan realm first. An ancient powers leader said. We'll gather here again 10 years later. Take care, everyone. We'll be leaving first. Soon after, those ancient powers all went their own ways. They all went their own ways in order to avoid fighting over good things when they were together. Elderly, I have some private matters to attend to. He wanted to find Bai Xing, and I also want to walk around here alone. I want to see how the alchemists are like. Li Baojun nodded. The White Tiger and Li Baojun also left. The other small powers were discussing about the alliance, but at this time, another group of people rushed over. There were even more people than before, as many as 100,000 people. This sacred Dan realm is too unfriendly. Everyone saw that the other side had so many people, and all the rankers had already left. They all flew away from the sacred sacrificed altar, and in an instant, all of them scattered. Big Bro ran off by himself again. I wonder how he'll fare in the future. At this time, Shui Xianxian and Wu Qianqian were walking behind Lu Meng'er, and behind them were Dongfang Xinyue and Hua Xiangyue. The few girls were in a forest, because Hua Xiangyue had said that there might be spirit medicine inside. You have to follow this kid. At the very least, you have to have the strength of the great elder beside him. Otherwise, you won't be able to deal with the enemy he is facing. Lu Meng'er sighed, not mentioning Ling Yulan, even she was not strong enough. Elder brother Xiao Xiang is like this, it's not like you don't know. Shui Xianxian did not mind, as she was completely at ease with her husband. We should discuss our next plan, Dongfang Xinyue said. At this time, he and the other girls had all changed into suits that were convenient to move around. I will first search for spiritual medicine here, then leave this place and inquire about a place called Zilan Mountain Valley. That kid told me that I can find an acquaintance of his there. Lu Meng'er said. Is it a woman? Hua Xiangyue asked. Yes, sir. The girls were silent. Other than Ling Yulan and Dongfang Xinyue, who didn't really care about this, they secretly cursed in their hearts. I've finally found you. LV Qinlian brought 2 mature and seductive women, falling from the sky, and stood in front of Lu Meng'er and the others. Yao Shumi also appeared along with her. She had a very good relations, HI+P with LV Qinlian, and she only brought one person. We're all girls, let's be together. LV Qinlian chuckled, and came to Lu Meng'er's side. Lu Meng'er and the others knew that this demon empress was not bad, and her strength was also strong. Yao Shumi looked at Shui Xianxian and laughed. The man in your family is really powerful. He can even provoke trouble in Sacred Dan realm, and it seems that he has provoked a very powerful force. Shui Xianxian stuck out her tongue and laughed. I have long gotten used to it. Within this group of 10 or so ladies, they were searching for spiritual medicine in the forest. What surprised Hua Xiangyue the most was that LV Qinlian's ability in finding spiritual medicine was also very brilliant, and he had a good understanding of spiritual medicine. On the other side, Huang Jintian brought Gu Dongchen and Wu Keiming, as well as 2 elders from Peach Island, and entered a stone mountain. Luckily that kid didn't bring my son, Lian Yingxiao said. Old Lian, why are you so concerned about your son? I remember that you had a huge conflict with him in the past. Gu Dongchen was completely puzzled. Because Ming Dong is more promising, he's the one that I'm more satisfied with. Lian Yingxiao curled his lips and said, You don't have a son, so you won't understand. Huang Jintian looked at the tall and big stone mountains around him. To be able to come to a high realm that I'm not familiar with is truly exciting. Martial ancestor, even if you are excited, don't bring us down a path of death. Gu Dongchen anxiously said. Don't worry, let's do some calculations. We won't die so soon. Huang Jintian laughed. Right after he finished speaking, a terrifying beast roar came out, the rocks suddenly exploded, and dozens of gigantic black bears appeared. Seeing these black bears that were as big as mountains, Gu Dongchen wanted to curse out loud. What are you all still standing there for? Hurry up and run! Huang Jintian shouted as he ran far away. Wu Keiming and the others were cursing in their hearts as they ran. They were supposed to be showing off their skills, but who knew they could run so fast? Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step as he brandished his blade and attacked a few people behind him. When he felt that it was about time, he used the power of the spatial laws and used all his strength to allow himself to travel through space. In an instant, he disappeared and arrived beside a large river. This is troublesome. I did not expect to come to this Ned place. The strength of Chaotic Mountains group is truly terrifying. Chen Xiang laid in the river, looking at the white clouds in the sky. He laughed. Luckily these guys are very afraid of the Chaos Fire Token's flames. With my current strength, I can use these fire tokens to release quite a lot of flames. After the traders took all of Tion's resources, they all hid in this place. In that case, there must be treasures here. I think those ancient powers knew where the treasures were, but they didn't say anything. Su Meiyao said. That's right, maybe they all have treasure maps left behind by their ancestors. In the end, they were still tricked by this group of people. However, it doesn't matter, they will definitely anger many powers. When the time comes, perhaps even they won't be able to return to Tion. Chen Xiang said. Chen Xiang no longer had Luotian Gate S, otherwise he would have been able to teleport there. However, based on his experiences in the Sacred Dan Realm, this place should be on the 10th floor of the Sacred Dan Realm. Chen Xiang no longer had Luotian Gate S, otherwise he would have been able to teleport there. However, based on his experiences in the Sacred Dan Realm, this place should be on the 10th floor of the Sacred Dan Realm. The terrain of the Sacred Dan Realm was like a ladder. The highest 18th floor was the strongest, and the gravity was also very strong. When Tion was about to break up, those traitorous powers definitely plundered the most precious resources. Thus, there weren't too many of them. I think they should hide these things together. Bai Yu said, especially Immortal Jade's spiritual crystal, if you store them all in one place, the more the better. Can even improve the quality. If it's a strange plant, it's the same. That's right. Only if they join hands can they create a powerful array formation to protect those things. Su Meiyao also agreed. Forget it, I'll go to the highest levels first. There must have been some huge change in the entire Sacred Dan Realm. In the past, there wouldn't be this many people coming out from Chaotic Mountain, but now there are tens of thousands of them, and I feel that the Chaotic Mountain has already ruled over the entire Sacred Dan Realm. Chen Xiang took out the Chaos Fire Token. These Chaos Fire Token were related to the Primal Chaos World, and Long Xue had said that the ancient books of her Imperial Dragon race recorded that the people inside those Chaotic Mountain could very likely be from the Primal Chaos clan. I want to go to Heaven's Sacred City to find an old acquaintance. Chen Xiang used a transformation technique, changing his appearance to that of a middle-aged man, concealing his presence, and then leaped into the air, stepped on the shrinking step, and rushed towards the top of Sacred Dan Realm. The Heaven Sacred City was a large and important city in the 18th floor of the tower. He might be able to find Yen Xilan there, but Yen Xilan had already announced that he would cultivate in seclusion. Chen Xiang, don't even think about escaping. Chen Xiang suddenly heard a familiar voice sound out from behind him, and started to secretly curse in his heart. The person who had arrived was actually the Prince Imperial Dragon, and other than that, there were also his followers and the 8 dragons. And the Great Strength race, they're actually together. Chen Xiang was shocked. He immediately rushed down into the forest. He alone could not face so many experts. Are you going to use the Chaos Fire Token? Chen Xiang started to run in the forest. Waves after waves of terrifying power continued to descend from the sky. Best not to use it. Don't forget that the reason you were able to fuse with Chaos Fire Token back then was probably because of the dragon blood. If it wasn't effective on those dragons, it would be hard for you to escape, Long Shui said. How did these guys know I was here? Chen Xiang had already activated his water escape technique to allow himself to escape from the ground and appear on the large river. Right now, he had to return to the first floor, where a piece of immortal poisoning devil forest was the safest. I remember now, there is a treasure in the Imperial Dragon race that was specially used to search for green dragon demon-slain broadswords. It was refined by some old dragons in order to recall their green dragon demon-slain broadswords. As long as it is within a certain range, they can sense the direction, Long Shui said. You have fused with the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. I am afraid you will not be able to avoid the reaction of the treasure. This is truly troublesome. How many areas are there within a certain range? Chen Xiang also felt a headache coming on. He stepped on the shrinking step on the surface of the river and followed the flow. I don't know, but it will take a lot of energy to use that magical equipment. As long as you break that magical equipment, they won't be able to track you. Long Shui thought for a moment, then said, Only dragons can use that treasure. It's mainly used to absorb dragon power. If you see anyone holding that treasure, you can follow that treasure and absorb its energy, and just pour that into your dragon power. But that magical equipment is pretty powerful. It's not easy to explode, even if you and my dragon power combined can't. They're chasing again, they're really fast. Long Shui said, Use all your strength to run. When we have the chance, kill them all. Fortunately, Chen Xiang still had some understanding of the sacred Dan realm, so he ran towards the first floor. As long as he went to the immortal poisoning devil forest there, he would be safe. If I had known this would happen, I would have brought the big white cat with me, Long Shui said with regret. No, with a white tiger, his ident. 1. Tai will be exposed sooner or later. When that happens, who's strong enough to know where the white tiger is? Not only us, but also the white tiger, Chen Xiang said. He had already heard from Chen Xiang that the white tiger could not easily reveal his ident. 1 Tai. The sacred Dan realm was a high-level world. The experts that Chen Xiang had met last time were not the strongest here, because it was said that there was a pill saint in the chaotic mountain. If there was an existence of this level, there was a high chance that there would be a saint who was mentioned by the white tiger. Prince Imperial Dragon and the others chased very closely. They were all very strong, so even if they had been chasing for many days, they would not get tired. That was why they dared to do this, seeing that Chen Xiang did not have the white tiger by his side. Chen Xiang had been chased for a few days, and had finally reached the first level, and even entered the immortal poisoning devil forest. Your Highness, the poison in this forest is very powerful. If I'm not mistaken, this forest was once stained with the dragon's blood. It is very likely that the missing poison dragon died here. The follower came out from immortal poisoning devil forest with a trace of fear. The immortal poisoning devil forest was shrouded in poisonous miasma. All of the flowers and trees inside carried poisonous miasma. If the strange flowers and plants inside were not poisonous, then it meant that these strange plants were extremely powerful and had the ability to resist poison. If we want to go in, we'll need to use at least half of our strength to resist the poison, and we can't consume too much of the other half. An old man from Great Strength race said. Let's go, even Chen Xiang can enter, why can't we? Xiao Long tightly clenched his fists as he looked at the immortal poisoning devil forest in front of him. Lock on to his position. Let's go in together and take him down. Prince Imperial Dragon had already made a decision. They would not give up until this point. The last time Chen Xiang entered the deeper parts of the immortal poisoning devil forest, he did not meet any ferocious poisonous beast because of Du Hai. However, it was different now, and he planned to enter even deeper, where even Du Hai did not dare to enter. The poisonous beast here shouldn't even be afraid of the dragon's qi, because this place already has a very dense dragon's qi. If they were to meet a living dragon, I reckon many strong poisonous beasts would be interested in it. Long Shui laughed. Only the weak poisonous beast would be afraid of the dragon Qi. The strong ones were not afraid, they even treated the dragon as a delicacy. The last time he was here, he was already chasing after a dragon with Du Hai. He never thought that it would actually be 10 dragons and a group of great strength race chasing after him, which made him feel that it was somewhat funny. Of course, when Chen Xiang came here this time, he was much more powerful than last time. Furthermore, he had the shrinking step, which had fused with the spatial rule spiritual bead, allowing him to have the ability to travel through space. However, Prince Imperial Dragon and the rest were different. After entering deeper in, the poisonous miasma was even stronger, so they had no choice but to slow down their pace. Right now, they could only find the direction of Chen Xiang through the treasure. They were still far from Chen Xiang, and they still had to rest. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew from the immortal poisoning devil forest, turning the poison mist into a poisonous aura. Following that, a thunderous roar that came from a beast the whole day sounded out, shattering a large part of the trees. This, a very strong aura. Prince Imperial Dragon's expression changed slightly. Arrogant Pill God 1055s Arrogant Pill God from Arrogant Pill God 1055s Arrogant Pill God from Chen Xiang was located deeper within the immortal poisoning devil forest, and the roar from the beast just now had come from there. From the roar from the beast, it seemed to be warning them not to come any closer. Baidu search. Read the latest chapter. Although Chen Xiang and the Prince Imperial Dragon were quite a distance away from the poisonous beast could feel the dragon's qi. With 10 dragons approaching at the same time, the poisonous beast did not want to clash with the dragons, so it gave out a warning. Even though he knew there was a poisonous beast in front, Chen Xiang still continued to rush forward. Although that place was dangerous for him too, the more dangerous the place was, the safer it would be at times. At least, if those dragons and great strength race were near, they would clash with that poisonous beast. Keep chasing. Prince Imperial Dragon considered for a moment before shouting. As a Prince Imperial Dragon, with 9 dragons and a few powerful great strength race, how could he be afraid of a wild beast? In immortal poisoning devil forest, the green poisonous miasma was denser. After the gust of wind, the green poisonous miasma was like a demon possessed, undulating up and down, flapping its claws and making waves of noises, making this poisonous miasma filled with death forest appear even more eerie. Chen Xiang's face was gloomy, perspiration trickled down his forehead, and his footsteps became heavier and heavier. Bang, bang, bang. His heart was beating very quickly. Even though he knew that there was an extremely terrifying poisonous beast up ahead, he still felt his heart tremble. That poisonous beast seemed to have the ability to transcend the heavens, as it unknowingly gave off an aura that made people despair, making people feel that the closer they got to it, the closer they felt to death. Do you know what's up ahead? Chen Xiang asked Long Shui as he slowed down his speed by a lot. I don't know, but I just want you to be very strong. You have to be prepared for serious injuries. Of course, if you are not discovered, then you are safe. Long Shui said. The Prince Imperial Dragon wore a golden crown on his head, and he wore a magnificent golden dragon robe. His handsome face was expressionless, and so were the 9 dragon-shaped men beside him. Your Highness, do you really want to continue going in? Chen Xiang obviously brought us here on purpose, although we do not know what is inside, but their power is extremely terrifying, and it will be difficult for us to deal with them. A red-armored man said. This was a follower Prince Imperial Dragon brought from Heaven Realm. You have to go in, you have to use the earth-shrinking art together, we have to stop Chen Xiang before he goes in. From the moment he had met Chen Xiang, he had always wanted to eliminate Chen Xiang. He didn't know who had powers, said down to Chen Xiang the divine arts that only Dragon Emperor could learn, but he couldn't allow other than his father, for others to learn the Emperor Dragon divine arts. They stopped, the 10 big men formed a circle, with Prince Imperial Dragon and the other great strength race people in the middle. Remember to consume a medicinal pill to recover later. The Earth Withdrawal Art will consume a huge amount of energy. Prince Imperial Dragon warned him, only to see the 10 big-sized men shouting, "Arrayes! H.I. plus Ning with a gold light quickly spinning, they started to move. In a blink of an eye, they had traveled a long distance. Chen Xiang, who was flying in the air, suddenly saw a golden light, and saw a group of people suddenly appear in front of him. It was Prince Imperial Dragon's group. It's ground withdrawal. Why didn't I think they would use this? This is an ability of the Imperial Dragon race to travel through space. However, the energy consumed is extremely huge and normally requires more than 10 people to use it. Long Shui shouted. Chen Xiang, you can't escape. The Prince Imperial Dragon sneered. He transformed into a golden rainbow and rushed towards Chen Xiang, his hand turning into a dragon claw, grabbing towards Chen Xiang's head. Chen Xiang revolved the power of the spatial laws, took a step forward, traveled through space, and disappeared, leaving nothing behind for the Prince Imperial Dragon. I thought I could fight you fairly, but I didn't expect you to be so mediocre as to send a bunch of people to capture me. I've overestimated you. Chen Xiang's disdainful voice came out, the crowd silently cursed, and actually allowed Chen Xiang to escape just like that. Chen Xiang had mastered the power of the spatial laws, but just now, he did not manage to release any of his spatial energy, so these people did not know how he managed to escape. Keep chasing. Prince Imperial Dragon's face revealed anger. He shouted and ran towards the direction of Chen Xiang's voice. Your Highness! The burly man in red armor let out a helpless cry and could only continue to chase after him. One side had to defend against the poison mist, while the other had to use up all their energy to run. If they were to be attacked by the poisonous beast they had to defend, it was extremely difficult for them. However, Chen Xiang was not afraid. His recovery speed was extremely shocking, and with his impenetrable, he was like a fish in water within the immortal poisoning devil forest. Ah! Long Shui screamed, I feel it! No wonder there's such a terrifying fellow here. The dragon pearl of the poisonous dragon that died here is still alive. Could it be that the poisonous beast in front is absorbing the power of the poison dragon pearl? That's right. Maybe the dragon pearl is too big, and it's not easy to take away, and it contains a lot of energy. Chen Xiang said, Didn't you say in the past that the more powerful a dragon was, the smaller the dragon pearl? That poisonous dragon is very powerful, so the dragon pearl should be very small. However, the dragon pearl of the poison dragon is very special. You must know that even though the poison dragon has transformed into a human, he is still a very large giant. Long Shui said, Legend has it that that guy was born with the giant dragon pearl. Not long after, Chen Xiang saw waves of red light shoot out in front of him. That dense dragon chi was extremely demonic, and within the red light there was an extremely strong poison. Chen Xiang's eyes flashed with a golden light as he activated Chaos Divine Eye and pierced through the thick red fog. As expected, he saw a red bead that was as tall as a mountain in front of him. Be careful! Just as she finished speaking, the ground began to shake. Once Chen Xiang released his divine power, it covered the area in front of him. He could sense that there was a large group of poisonous beasts approaching him from all directions, as if there were 10,000 horses galloping. This is a good opportunity. You can use the dragon power inside the dragon pearl to destroy the treasure that was chasing you. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang once again used the power of the spatial laws and charged through the group of poisonous beasts, arriving beside the gigantic red dragon pearl. It's the dragon pearl of a poisonous dragon. It really is the legendary poisonous dragon. Prince Imperial Dragon suddenly became excited, but he was extremely worried, because the dangerous aura was becoming denser and denser. Chen Xiang used his divine power to lock onto the square plate in the hands of a big-sized man, which was his tracking treasure. He activated the devouring magic kung fu, absorbing the dragon power inside the huge dragon pearl into his body, and then imbued it into the treasure. In one breath, Chen Xiang devoured an extremely large amount of dragon power, and almost caused the meridians in his entire body to explode. In one breath, Chen Xiang devoured an extremely large amount of dragon power, and almost caused the meridians in his entire body to explode. One breath, Chen Xiang shouted. He had devoured a lot of dragon power, and it was extremely violent as well. Adding the dragon power of himself and Long Shui, it was more than enough to swallow that treasure. This is bad. The man saw the square plate in his hand tremble, and immediately shouted, wanting to put it away. Bang! Fong Pan suddenly exploded in the big-sized man's hands, and at the same time, the group of poisonous beasts rushed towards them. This bastard. Prince Imperial Dragon reacted and knew that it was Chen Xiang who broke the treasure. If they wanted to track Chen Xiang now, it would be troublesome, since they had to face a large group of poisonous beasts. Beautiful! Long Shui laughed and shouted, "Kill this dragon pearl, I feel that the powerful guy is inside this dragon pearl." Chen Xiang looked at the blood-red, enormous dragon pearl in front of him, and couldn't help but Ver in his heart. The fellow who had made him tremble with fear the entire way, had actually entered this dragon pearl to cultivate. Fine, one doesn't need to do it first, two doesn't need to do it. Chen Xiang took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and leaped into the air. With a loud roar, the green dragon demon-slain broadsword suddenly became extremely huge and released a powerful aura. This huge divine blade seemed as if it could easily cleave the heavens and the earth. Stop! Prince Imperial Dragon already knew what Chen Xiang was going to do. Hurry and retreat! Prince Imperial Dragon shouted in anger. Boom! The green dragon demon-slain broadsword landed on top of the gigantic dragon pearl, and after Chen Xiang poured a lot of power into the blade, it became extremely heavy, and it was so easy that it split apart the gigantic dragon pearl. Oh! A roar came out, the group of poisonous beasts were all blasted apart by the angry sound wave. The dragon pearl that was broken was shattered by a strong and angry force, bringing about a burst of gale that swept out in all directions. The entire land was like a rolling sea. A large amount of soil and forests were shaken by the violent power until they looked like a surging tide. The thunderous roar from earlier had shaken the entire sacred Dan realm, especially the first floor. Right now, it was in the midst of the aftershocks, and the 18th floor was also shaking violently. Big trouble, haha! Chen Xiang had already shuttled through SPAC continuously, using the fastest speed he could muster to leave this immortal poisoning devil forest. As for the group of people from Prince Imperial Dragon, he felt that even if they managed to escape, they would suffer heavy losses. The instant Chen Xiang slashed open the dragon pearl, he left through SPAC. He couldn't see what was inside. In short, the things inside were extremely terrifying. He felt that he would need the white tiger to go all out to kill it. Prince Imperial Dragon suffered a huge loss this time. Not only did he waste so many days, he even let the treasure that could only track green dragon demon-slain broadsword be destroyed, and now he was even trapped in an extremely dangerous situation. Chen Xiang was already ing towards the 18th floor. As long as there were no treasures, it would not be easy to find him. He had already been away from the immortal poisoning devil forest for a few days, but nothing was chasing him. The Chen Xiang who took away 7 pieces of the Chaotic Mountains Chaos Fire token all those years ago was actually still alive, and had even returned in an extremely domineering manner. After killing many people in the Chaotic Mountain, the bounty the Chaotic Mountain placed on him had increased once again, and the streets and alleys were filled with his portraits. The Chaos Fire token were extremely important to the Chaotic Mountain, and this was something that everyone knew. Back then, in order to capture Chen Xiang, the Chaotic Mountain had intentionally released a few Chaos Fire token to attract Chen Xiang, but who knew that not only did they not catch Chen Xiang, they were even taken away by Chen Xiang? At that time, everyone thought that he had died, but in the end, the people from Chaotic Mountain found out that the Chaos Fire token still existed. As long as the Chaos Fire token was still there, it meant that Chen Xiang was not dead, so they kept bounty on Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang used his shrinking step and stepped on the clouds as he ran in the air. Suddenly, he heard a scream from below. This voice is very familiar, it seems to belong to that stupid girl Jing Jing. Long Shui said. It is indeed Dongfang Jing's voice. Why is he here? When Chen Xiang heard the voice, his heart could not help but tighten. Although this simple girl was somewhat stupid, she was still extremely lovable. He immediately flew down, and high up in the sky, he saw a young man laughing wickedly while dragging his clothes. Dongfang Jing's clothes were tattered and his face was covered in tears. There were two purple-robed elders not too far away from the young man. One of them shouted, "Kid, hurry up and finish this. We still have to hurry on our way. I will make sure this little girl dies comfortably soon, haha." The young man laughed sinisterly. When Chen Xiang saw this scene, he was infuriated. He immediately teleported through SPACE and appeared behind the young man, activating Angry Dragon Slay. He released a furious roar and slashed diagonally in the air, chopping the young man into two. Jing Jing, don't be afraid. After Chen Xiang released Dongfang Jing immediately began to cry bitterly. She took out a sword, gritted her teeth, and started to chop at the young man's body, crying out loud with a face full of grief and indignation. The two violet-robed men, hearing the furious roars of the dragons, immediately hurried over. "You are Chen Xiang." An old man saw the green dragon demon-slain broadsword in Chen Xiang's hand and shouted in shock. This old man from Purple Moon Imperial Land was not very strong. Although he was able to get through Nirvana Tribulation, the other person was very strong. "Jing Jing, get a good night's sleep." Chen Xiang knocked Dongfang Jing out and placed him into the ring. He knew that Dongfang Jing had definitely received a huge shock, and that she had followed Dongfang Chaochuan here. If Dongfang Chaochuan wasn't by her side now, she might very well be killed. Dongfang Lingyun. Chen Xiang recognized one of the old man, it was actually the great elder of the Dongfang family. When Dongfang Lingyun saw Chen Xiang, his face was filled with anger. Even in his dreams, he wanted to kill Chen Xiang. "Brat, you're dead for sure." Dongfang Lingyun's face was sinister. He took out a sword and rushed forward like lightning. The other elder's eyes were also red, because the young man who died was his son. Chen Xiang was currently filled with rage and shouted, "It's you who's going to die." As he spoke, he activated the magical corruption gas stored in his body. The colorless and tasteless magical corruption gas was released by Chen Xiang with a gentle breeze, enveloping his surroundings. The corpse on the ground suddenly turned purplish-black, and Dongfang Lingyun's old man also sensed something. "It's a demon corruption." Dongfang Lingyun's face changed drastically as he immediately channeled all of his energy to prevent the magical corruption gas from spreading within his body. Before he could finish his words, Chen Xiang had cut his head off. The other old man's face was pale and his entire body was trembling. "Let's go." Chen Xiang flashed in front of him and slashed at his neck, causing his head to hit the ground and his body to instantly turn into a purple-black color. Although magical corruption gases were powerful, they could only deal with people with strength around the 9th Nirvana Tribulation. If the Prince Imperial Dragon, who had a powerful body like a dragon, were to be poisoned to death within a short period of time, he would escape. Therefore, Chen Xiang did not dare use the magical corruption gas S on these people, otherwise this matter would be exposed. Although magical corruption gas S were powerful, they could only deal with people with strength around the 9th Nirvana tribulation. If the Prince Imperial Dragon, who had a powerful body like a dragon, were to be poisoned to death within a short period of time, he would escape. Therefore, Chen Xiang did not dare use the magical corruption gas S on these people, otherwise this matter would be exposed. Chen Xiang released a burst of flame and burnt the corpse. When the corpse was burnt to ashes, he saw a folded yellow beast skin. It was not burnt by his flames, and it did not occupy any magical corruption gas either. It could be seen that this beast skin was no ordinary thing. He immediately picked it up, unfurled it and discovered that it was a map. The powerful warriors of the Purple Moon Imperial Land are basically all dead. Only these few guys came here on behalf of the Purple Moon Imperial Land. Could it be that the treasure on this map is where the ancestors of the Purple Moon Imperial Land hid their treasures? Chen Xiang was a little excited. He carefully looked around, memorized the general location, and then placed the beast skin into the ring. However, the ring was still in his hand, and he had not entered it. What a strange map! It can't even be placed inside the ring. Chen Xiang was startled, and tried again a few times, but it still didn't work. It might be that there is some powerful invisible spirit grain inside, and cannot be placed inside. Otherwise, these people would not have brought them with them. Su Meiyao said. At this time, Shi and Bai Yuyu were taking care of the unconscious Dongfang Jing. Chen Xiang ran towards the location marked on the map. It was right around here. Is that girl all right? Chen Xiang asked. Her internal injuries are very serious, but she's slowly recovering after eating the Relive Dan. It seems like she's suffered a huge blow. Su Meiyao sighed lightly and touched Dongfang Jing's face. When she wakes up, I'll comfort her and then take her to find the warm moon. Those are her only family members. Chen Xiang sighed, thinking back to how the kind and simple Dongfang Jing had slashed that young man's body with her sword. She could see the hatred in her heart. Chen Xiang followed the map and walked according to it. He wanted to find this place quickly and bring Dongfang Jing to look for him. He hoped that Dongfang Xinyue and the others could follow his instructions to look for the Zilan Mountain Valley. Otherwise, given how big the sacred Dan realm was, it would not be easy for him to find them. He did not encounter any danger along the way. On the contrary, the terrain was extremely dangerous, but it was nothing to him. The map indicated that the item was hidden within a large mountain. It doesn't seem to be anything big. This thing looks like a very small altar. Chen Xiang arrived outside the mountain and looked at the map, just about to look for the entrance to this building. Can this small altar take me to another place? The map showed that there was a map that looked very similar to the sacred sacrificed altar inside the mountain. It looked like a small altar. This mountain has a formation. For many years, this mountain has been protected by this formation. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang also noticed it, and he could tell that this array was not simple, breaking it wouldn't be easy either. He unfolded the beast's skin and walked around the mountain. Suddenly, the beast's skin emitted purple clouds. With a thought, he pointed the beast's skin towards the formation. The entire mountain lit up with purple clouds, and the formation disappeared. As he approached the mountain, he pushed open a huge rock, saw a purple door, and then opened the door with the hide. This ancestor of the Purple Moon Imperial Land is pretty amazing. He can even make a piece of the beast skin this amazing. Chen Xiang praised. As he walked along a tunnel, the four walls radiated with a gentle white light. Not long after, he arrived at a stone room. There was indeed a small altar in this room, but it was too small and didn't seem like it was used for transportation. It was only the size of a regular round table, but there was a shallow groove on it. Chen Xiang compared the beast's skin with the previous one and discovered that it was the same size as the one in the groove, barely able to be laid out. After laying it down, a circular array appeared on the beast's skin, like a purple moon. The small altar slowly started to spin, then burst out with a purple light, and a purple square stone piece floated up, looking like a palm in size. However, when Chen Xiang took it over, he felt it was very heavy. There seems to be a void heavenly stone inside this rock. Could this be the treasure? Chen Xiang carefully looked at this purple stone piece, then channeled his God power inside. He saw that this stone piece suddenly grew in size, and a map actually appeared on top of it, which made him even more excited. He felt that this was the real treasure. Beast skin map cannot be stored in storage magic treasure and cannot be incinerated. This way it can be said down and this place can be found. When Chen Xiang placed the stone piece at its largest, it was only the size of a bed. He carefully looked at the map on it, and realized that this map was only one piece of the map. Do you need many of these pieces for a complete map? Chen Xiang suddenly thought of something. All the ancestors of the ancient powers hid such a stone piece, and the things they hid were all gathered together. Moreover, they needed all of the ancient powers to join hands, so it cannot be lacking. But now, he had obtained a piece of the purple moon imperial land stone, which meant that if he were to lose them, the efforts of the ancient powers would be in vain. The broken shoes are everywhere, so it doesn't take me any effort to get them, hee. Chen Xiang placed the stone piece into the ring. This stone piece could fit inside a storage magic treasure, unlike the beast skin from before. Chen Xiang left and rushed to the 18th floor. Is that stupid girl awake? Chen Xiang asked. No, she looks very tired, and she even recovers from her injuries. Her mental condition is also seriously damaged, so she might need to sleep for a few days. Su Meiyao said. I wonder what exactly she went through. This level of injury wasn't caused by the people from Purple Moon Imperial Land, especially the damage to her sea of consciousness. She suffered a mental attack, and she wasn't injured at all. The internal injuries were not caused by the power of the innate qi, but were caused by the power of spiritual sense. Long Shui said. If she did not have the clan's blood soul in her body, she would have died a long time ago. It seems like Dongfang Chaochuan merged the clan's blood soul into her body, allowing her to live. She and her father must have met with some powerful object, and only she escaped in the end, falling into the hands of those Purple Moon Imperial Land fellows. Long Shui said. The blood soul of the Dongfang family was a heaven-defying existence that allowed people with the pure blood of the Dongfang family to pass through the Nirvana doom smoothly. It was for this that Dongfang Lingyun schemed against Dongfang Chaochuan and Dongfang Xinyue back then. I need to find Dongfang Xinyue quickly. This little girl must be extremely sad. Dongfang Xinyue is her aunt. Seeing her family, she should feel better. Chen Xiang increased his speed. It was late at night, and the cold wind was blowing in the heaven-sacred city, but the entire city was still bustling with noise and excitement, unlike during the day. Especially around a 5-story tower, many people were looking at the handsome youth at the top of the tower. It was late at night, and the cold wind was blowing in the heaven-sacred city, but the entire city was still bustling with noise and excitement, unlike during the day. Especially around a 5-story tower, many people were looking at the handsome youth at the top of the tower. He was dressed in purple, and was seated cross-legged in front of a crystal-like pill furnace. After he poured in the medicinal ingredients, he injected them into the flame, and the medicinal ingredients inside were incinerated, releasing a dazzling green light. Chen Xiang saw this from afar and secretly smiled in his heart. This kid still likes to be in the limelight so much. The tower was opened by a girl called Lin Shi. The girl came from Chaotic Mountain, and was supported by her parents to open this shop. When Fan Yakan fell in love with her, he helped her take care of the pill shop. Seems like I've found the right place. Chen Xiang walked over. Just as he was about to step into the pill shop, he heard a clap of thunder, and the green light outside disappeared. Who is it? Fan Yakin shouted angrily. His precious crystal furnace had been struck by a bolt of lightning just now, causing it to explode and become extremely damaged. Chen Xiang was the same as everyone else. They were all extremely shocked. They raised their heads to look for the person who attacked Fan Yakin, causing such a huge commotion in the Heaven Sacred City, as this violated the rules of the Heaven Sacred City. Showing off all day. Other than this bit of skill, what other tricks does your medicine shop have? A tall and handsome youth mounted on a purple flame lion with wings flew over from the distance. I was wondering who it was, but it turns out to be your grandson. It's not strange that you could do this sort of thing in secret. Fan Yakin kept the broken crystal furnace and clenched his fists. Why is it you again? Are you annoyed? Lin Shi suddenly appeared at the top of the tower, her white clothes fluttering in the wind. Your Lin family is about to be chased out of Chaotic Mountain. What are you being so arrogant for? Why don't you just marry me obediently? Although this kid is a bit capable, he's much weaker than me. The man riding the purple flame lion glanced at Fan Yakin in disdain. Fan Yakin scoffed, "You are just a little stronger than me. If we are comparing notes concocting pills, you are far weaker than me. Give me some time, I will definitely surpa. S.U. Boom. A burst of M.U.F. fled sound came out. The purple flame lion suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a ray of purple lightning that struck Fan Yakin's body. That purple flame lion that could fly was indeed powerful. With one bite, it instantly caused Fan Yakin to vomit blood. If it were not for Lin Shi hugging him, he probably would have flown far away. No one had expected this man to be so powerful. He had not done anything, yet he had already ordered his mount to attack this man. The weak are the weak, this is the best proof. If you were a strong warrior, you wouldn't have let me bully you like this. The man said arrogantly. He then looked at Lin Shi. Tomorrow, I will bring people to challenge your Shi'i pavilion. I will smash your signboard with my own hands. When Chen Xiang saw this scene, he was secretly infuriated. He could also tell that the families behind Lin Shi and Fan Yakin had lost their power, otherwise they would not have been bullied like this. He took out the death-haunting arrow and stealthily aimed it at the purple flame lion. Using the strongest dragon power, he pierced right through the lion's heart. This guy likes to sneak attack others, and I'll let him have a taste of being ambushed. Chen Xiang sneered in his heart, circulated the vigorous innate qi in his body, turned it into a dragon power, and poured it into the death-haunting arrow. Although there was currently a majestic amount of energy circulating, to the point that Chen Xiang's control was extremely strong, and his death-haunting arrow had become very powerful after being modified by Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinyue, there was not a single bit of aura being released. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Tomorrow, I will bring a very powerful alchemist to ruin your reputation, haha. The young man laughed wildly. Arrogant my ass. Chen Xiang thought about it as he secretly released an extremely terrifying arrow. This arrow was condensed from a large amount of dragon power, and when it flew out, it made a whistling sound. In that instant, everyone felt a strong sense of oppression. Whiz! Some people with sharp senses saw a white light suddenly flash by, bringing along a terrifying power as it tore through the spac, flying towards the purple flame lion. After it penetrated through the bottom and entered the purple flame lion's body, the violent dragon power exploded, causing the purple flame lion to explode. The man let out a strange cry as a silvery white light barrier appeared around his body, protecting him within. Who is it? The him who had always been high and mighty. No one in the heaven-sacred city dared to stop him. But now he was ambushed, and even his precious mount was blown into pieces. Just as the man shouted, Chen Xiang released another arrow, which struck onto the silver Hi+ELD, causing a strong explosion of air, sending the man flying. However, the man was not injured. He must have been carrying a very strong treasure. Humph. He was worried that if he were to continue, he would be killed. He immediately flew away, flying towards a very tall stone tower in the middle of the heaven's sacred city. Isn't that guy Primordius' grandson? I never thought that someone would actually dare to attack him. This is called the circulatory cycle of wind and water. Heh, this is quite interesting. That purple lion is a rare beast, but it was actually killed by someone, not even a beast core was left behind. Chen Xiang had aimed at the beast core earlier and detonated the inside. Fan Yakan also wanted to know who was making a move in the dark, but he was severely injured, and the attack from the purple flame lion was extremely powerful, so Lin Shi had to carry him and leave right now. Chen Xiang turned into a black BUT turfly, followed them to a hall, and then changed back to her original appearance. Lin Shi still looked at Fan Yakan's injuries, while Fan Yakan scolded the man from before. "Brother Fan!" Chen Xiang shouted, giving Fan Yakan and Lin Shi a big fright. Seeing Chen Xiang's mischievous smile, the two of them heaved a sigh of relief, but their faces were filled with surprise. It had already been more than a month since Chen Xiang came to the sacred Dan realm, and the fact that he appeared again was already long known to the sacred Dan realm. Furthermore, there were many powerful forces near the heaven sacred city, but Chen Xiang actually dared to come, and they all thought that the person who secretly attacked the man just now was Chen Xiang. "Chen Xiang, it was you." Fan Yakan was stunned for a moment, then laughed out loud. "Well fought, that grandson, with his grandfather's strength, is overbearing here, why didn't you kill him?" Lin Shi shook his head. "You shouldn't have come. You are currently in an extremely dangerous situation, and all the powerful forces in the chaotic mountain are looking for you." Chen Xiang laughed. "It's nothing, if I want to hide, it's not easy to find me." Chen Xiang examined Fan Yakan's body, and discovered that there were quite a lot of injuries on his body. This was the reason why Fan Yakan's cultivation level had stagnated, and why he was able to have such a high level of mastery over alchemy. It was all because he possessed the fire soul of the netherworld. Chen Xiang examined Fan Yakan's body, and discovered that there were quite a lot of injuries on his body. This was the reason why Fan Yakan's cultivation level had stagnated, and why he was able to have such a high level of mastery over alchemy. It was all because he possessed the fire soul of the netherworld. "How did you get hurt?" "It seems like this power can only be used by people from the chaotic mountain. Could it be that you have been opposing the people from the chaotic mountain all these years?" Chen Xiang frowned. The injuries on his body, the remaining energy could only be used by the experts of the chaotic mountain. Lin Shi bit her lips and sighed. "Let me say it. He was injured by Primordius, who is one of the elders of the Primal Chaos clan in the chaotic mountain. The Primal Chaos clan has many branches, and our Lin clan is one of them, but right now, he has been suppressed by the most powerful Super Yuan Mountain of the Primal Chaos clan. The Super Yuan Mountain was established by some people who wanted to rule the entire Primal Chaos clan, which was Primordius's group." Chen Xiang rubbed the side of his nose and said, "I remember that it was this guy called Primordius who attacked me back then. But why did he injure Brother Fan?" "This is because of me. His grandson Ho Feixiao wanted to marry me, and then..." Chen Xiang immediately understood. "Don't worry, there's enmity between this Primordius and I, so leave this grandson of his to me." "Right, what kind of person is Lu Yuan?" "Primordius is just his name. No one knows his real name, so he can use the chaotic force of the Primal Chaos race. That is the power that remains in Yakan's body." Lin Shi lamented. "Ever since he was struck by that palm, he has been stuck in place, and both of us have no way of dealing with him." Chen Xiang pinched Fan Yakan's wrist and said, "I'll try." He activated Devouring Magic Kung Fu, locked onto the remnants of the chaotic force, and then absorbed it into his body. With regards to the Devouring Magic Kung Fu, he had already reached the pinnacle of perfection, so there was no need to worry about he would swallow Fan Yakan up. Sensing the chaotic force in his body flowing away, Fan Yakin was both surprised and delighted. He widened his eyes, looked at Chen Xiang and said, "Chen Xiang, you're really amazing. It's nothing, but you better keep on pretending so that others will look down on you. However, you are also secretly raising your strength, so in the future, it will definitely be of great help to you." Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly. "Oh right, what happened in Sacred Dan Realm? Why are there people from the Chaotic Mountain everywhere?" Chen Xiang asked. He had come here to understand the situation. It's the Super Yuan Mountain from inside the Chaotic Mountain who wanted to dominate the entire Sacred Dan Realm. However, no matter what, the Sacred Dan Realm still has many powerful forces, so the Super Yuan Mountain has never succeeded. Adding on the fusion of some Holy Demon Realm and Holy Demon Realm with the Sacred Dan Realm, the Super Yuan Mountain's plan has been completely broken. Fan Yakin's complexion looked much better. The chaotic force was like a bunch of poisonous bugs in his body, causing him to suffer for all these years. "I knew that old B.A.S.T.A.R.D. Primordius wouldn't be able to kill you. You went back to the mortal martial realm, right? I never thought that you and Du Yenyao were actually pretending to be married. What a pity," Fan Yakin said. "A lot of things have also happened in the mortal martial realm. How is Yenyao now?" Chen Xiang asked. In the entire Sacred Dan realm, Du Yenyao was considered a rare female genius. Just like me, he was also targeted by the grandson of one of the big shots in Super Yuan Mountain. Lin Shi sighed. She's currently hiding in Zilan Mountain Valley. Where's her grandfather, Du Hai? This old fellow is very strong. How can he let someone forcefully marry his granddaughter? Du Yenyao viewed Du Yenyao as his good friend, and he was extremely concerned about this matter. Was severely injured by the Super Yuan Mountain, and his whereabouts are unknown. His son Du Kongxing had died a tragic death. If not for the fact that Du Yenyao had followed the Xylan Immortal Fairy and obtained the protection of the Sacred Dance School, he would have been married off a long time ago. Lin Shi's words shocked Chen Xiang greatly. Du Hai had actually gone missing after being heavily injured, and Du Yenyao's father had been killed. Remembering the Dongfang Jing who was still unconscious inside the ring, Chen Xiang could only sigh helplessly. Chen Xiang had even told Huang Jintian, Li Baojun and the others to look for Du Hai earlier, but he never expected that Du Hai would encounter such a huge change. Tomorrow, Ho Feixiao will come again, he will do what he says. Tonight, my injuries will completely recover, I want to make sure that he loses miserably. Fan Yakin clenched his teeth and said. Chen Xiang was still absorbing the energy of chaos within his body at this moment, so he hurriedly said, "No way, the energy of chaos in your body has been sucked out by me, but you have to rest for at least 2 to 3 months before you can fully recover. Leave it to me tomorrow. Let me ask you something, who is the person who wants to forcefully marry Yenyao? What kind of background? Even though Yenyao and I are fake husband and wife, she is my good friend and I must help her take care of this fellow." Fan Yakin and Lin Shi's expressions changed slightly as they looked at each other in panic. That's the grandson of the leader. Although he is usually domineering, this guy's strength is still quite good. Fan Yakin still did not know Chen Xiang's current strength. Furthermore, they have already found a method to deal with the Chaos Fire token. As you have seen earlier, when you attack them, a light barrier will appear around them. But of course, this is only true for those N.O. clans of the Primal Chaos. Lin Shi said. You don't have to worry about this, I will take care of it. If not, I will have my friends help me. Although Chen Xiang had split up with White Tiger, they would definitely meet again in the future. Tomorrow, I will deal with those people who came to cause trouble. If they really want face, then they should try to beat them up by competing in pill refining methods, and I will also use this kind of gentle method to hit back at them. But if they are shameless, I will make them lose their lives. This caused Lin Shi and Fan Yakin to feel a little fearful. Hey you guys, what's there to be afraid of? Wasn't it just losing a pill shop? With your talents, this medicine store will still be fine without you. Chen Xiang said. Moreover, the one who attacked was me, not you two. Don't worry. If they are here to compete in pill forging, I will compete with them. If not, I'll kill them with my true colors. Back then, his grandfather almost killed me, so it's normal for me to want to get rid of his grandson. Chen Xiang thought, because this might cause a huge war between Super Yuan Mountain, Fan family and the Lin family, and would cause a lot of death. Fan Yakan knew that Chen Xiang had definitely become much stronger, or else he would not have made Ho Feixiao sound so easy to kill. The Heaven Sacred City had already been taken over by the Super Yuan Mountain. After Ho Feixiao was sneakily attacked, the entire city was sealed, only allowed to enter, not allowed to leave. Furthermore, there would often be powerful elders flying in the sky with a group of people searching for suspicious people, but they would definitely not be able to find anything, because they did not have any clues at all. The Heaven Sacred City had already been taken over by the Super Yuan Mountain. After Ho Feixiao was sneakily attacked, the entire city was sealed, only allowed to enter, not allowed to leave. Furthermore, there would often be powerful elders flying in the sky with a group of people searching for suspicious people, but they would definitely not be able to find anything, because they did not have any clues at all. On the second day, just as Shi-Yi Pavilion opened the door, Ho Feixiao arrived in a luxurious sedan chair. A very powerful-looking alchemist followed behind him, and it was a very young man. Is this the so-called future Pill God of Super Yuan Mountain? I heard that at such a young age, he is already an alchemist capable of refining a low-grade heaven-level pellet. Ho Feixiao invited him to deal with Fan Yakan. Is he simply abusing him? Who doesn't know that Fan Yakan was injured last night, and that his internal injuries have not healed after all these years? Many people were discussing in whispers in the distance. This boy is called Zhang Yanqing. He was born with the heaven flame, and in the future, it is very possible that he will cultivate a fire of chaos. His attainments in the area of alchemy are extremely high, and amongst the young generation of Sacred Dan realm, no one is able to match him. Fan Yakan said on to Chen Xiang, "What rank of pill can you refine now?" "Middle ground level." Chen Xiang replied. "It's not bad, my improvement is quite fast. It's a hurdle to enter the upper grade of the ground level, it's difficult for many alchemists to pass. Fan Yakan said, "I will have them restrict the rules to the middle grade ground level pills. With this genius alchemist, their conditions should be a lot more lax." Ho Feixiao sat in a luxurious palanquin, protected by a few powerful-looking elders outside. It seemed that they were worried that he would be ambushed again like last night. "I've long heard that the alchemist is quite powerful. The alchemist wants to compete with you, and it's also a form of training for him." Ho Feixiao's voice carried an arrogant tone. "Hand over your powerful alchemist, and don't embarrass yourselves. Why do you insist on accepting your challenge?" Fan Yakan was extremely furious. She really wanted to rush over and smash this fellow's nose. "You injured me last night, I haven't even settled this score with you yet. I remember that every 10 years, Heaven Sacred City's medicine store must accept at least one unconditional challenge, otherwise, scram." Ho Feixiao laughed coldly. "All right, how do you want to compete?" Fan Yakan suppressed the anger in his heart and asked. Zhang Yanqing took a step forward, took out many broken medicinal ingredients, and threw them on the ground. Upon seeing these broken medicinal ingredients, many people sucked in a deep breath. Many abandoned medicinal ingredients were quickly piled up at the Shi-Yi Pavilion's entrance. These medicinal ingredients could not be planted for various reasons, but if in the hands of an outstanding alchemist, these medicinal ingredients could all be refined into pills. "You all should be familiar with these medicinal herbs?" Zhang Yanqing asked coldly. As the most talented alchemist of the young generation, he naturally had a kind of arrogance. Qi Shin Dan. Fan Yakan let out a long sigh. The Qi Shin Dan is a kind of middle-grade ground-level pill that can help people cultivate the innate qi and consciousness at the same time. However, even in sacred Dan realm, the medicinal ingredients are already extinct. That's right, the Qi Shin Dan is a middle-grade ground-level pill. Because it is too easy to refine it, it is listed as a middle-grade ground level, and its use will become upper-grade ground level. However, if we were to use discarded medicinal ingredients to refine it, the difficulty would increase by a lot. After Zhang Yanqing finished speaking, he continued to take out the abandoned Qi Shin Dan medicinal ingredient. There were so many of them that they looked like two small mountains the height of a person. Zhang Yanqing's eyes carried a trace of provocation, and said, "I know that the two of you are pretty good alchemists, and that among the younger generation, you are alchemists who can refine abandoned medicinal ingredients into pills." Refining abandoned medicinal ingredients into pills was indeed difficult, and it also tested the standards of the alchemist. Although these medicinal ingredients were abandoned, the medicine aura inside them could still condense them into pills, and adding all of them together, it would still reduce the difficulty. "You? Or you?" Zhang Yanqing looked at Lin Shi, and then looked at Fan Yakan. "I'll do it." Chen Xiang walked out. He had turned into a young man who looked normal and unremarkable, and was dressed very simply, not like an alchemist at all. The moment Chen Xiang stepped forward, many people frowned. From the outside, he did not look like a person, but the crowd could see that Fan Yakan did not have any intentions of stopping him, and knew that he was hiding his strength. "With just you?" Zhang Yanqing looked at Chen Xiang in disdain. "Tell me the rules." Chen Xiang did not say much. 2 piles of abandoned Qi Shin Dan's medicine, each of us will take 1. In 1 day, whoever refines more Qi Shin Dan will win, and the Qi Shin Dan will belong to whoever. Also, if I finish refining my medicinal ingredients and you still have too much left and the time is not up yet, I can use your medicinal ingredients to refine it. Zhang Yanqing looked down at the young man in front of him with disdain. He felt that if he were to compete with the young man in front of him, then he would have to lower his status and status. Chen Xiang nodded and said, "If the first thing I do is to refine all of these medicinal ingredients and before the time is up, you still have a lot of medicinal ingredients left. I can also take your medicinal ingredients to refine, right?" "That's right, but you don't have that possibility," Zhang Yanqing sneered. "Are there any other rules?" Chen Xiang asked again. "The pill furnaces we use are our own. If the pill furnace is blown up, it will become a failure." Nodded his head. Being able to use abandoned medicinal ingredients to refine Qi Shin Dan made him secretly happy, because he had never been able to find the Qi Shin Dan's medicinal ingredient. Su Meiyao had said before that this kind of pill was magical. It was only 1 pellet, but it had the effect of 2 kinds of pellets. He took a pill furnace and checked it. This furnace had not been tampered with, and its quality was still decent. It seemed like Ho Feixiao was planning to fair and square when it came to defeating Shi Yi Pavilion. Of course, Zhang Yanqing disdained using tricks to defeat others. "How are you going to win? This little brat is not someone who is easy to deal with," Su Meiyao asked. "First, I will refine 1 or 2 batches. After getting familiar with them, I will refine an entire pile of them in 1 go." Chen Xiang already had a comprehensive plan. After obtaining the heavenly alchemy, he would be able to make great progress in the area of alchemy. Furthermore, he would have a variety of methods to support and speed up the process of alchemy. "Did you just learn a new method from the heavenly alchemy?" Su Meiyao's eyes lit up. He was really looking forward to the moment Chen Xiang would show his skills. "Big sister, I won't let you down." Chen Xiang had already taken out a few supplementary ingredients, and with a single glance, Chen Xiang could tell that the quality of the supplementary ingredients were of extremely high quality. This would help to make up for the deficiencies of the abandoned medicinal ingredients. This was something he needed to do as well. Chen Xiang also took out the supplementary ingredient. Although it looked to be very different from Zhang Yanqing's, the supplementary ingredients were all made from creation divine liquid, and it could be said that the supplementary ingredients contained a mystical power. The medicine used to refine qi shindan was very special. Although it was a kind of fruit, it was rooted in its roots and its roots were very long. During the process of growing, it was very likely to have problems, which resulted in a lot of abandoned herbs. The medicine used to refine qi shindan was very special. Although it was a kind of fruit, it was rooted in its roots and its roots were very long. During the process of growing, it was very likely to have problems, which resulted in a lot of abandoned herbs. Every fruit was connected to a wrist-sized root, and the fruit was only the size of a child's fist, looking like a wrinkled apple. It was slightly red, giving off a faint trace of spirit energy. Zhang Yanqing quickly picked out 2 quality profoundly fruit and threw them into the furnace, beginning to refine them. Because these profoundly fruit were of the worst quality, when the 2 of them were combined, the medicine aura would be more complete. However, if they did not have some skill, it would be very difficult for a normal alchemist to fuse 2 together like this. This was not difficult at all for Chen Xiang. Forget about combining 2, even if it was 10, he would still be able to obtain 100 portions easily, let alone 2. Profoundly fruit S were the only main ingredient in refining the qi shindan. They were all piled up with a piece of tree root, and this root was not simple at all. As long as one was connected with the profoundly fruit, they could still absorb the spirit energy from the outside, preventing the profoundly fruit from dying quickly. What a waste, to actually throw away this cut root. This cut root is as important as the profoundly fruit. Su Meiyao used her divine sense, and saw that when Zhang Yanqing was dealing with the medicinal herbs, he separated the profoundly fruit from the tree root and threw away the tree root. When Chen Xiang picked up a piece of the tree root, he could clearly feel the strange spirit energy inside. It was indeed a very important thing, but the root was also very strange. It was actually as stiff as iron, and there were even many impurities inside. After the profoundly fruit tree absorbed a large amount of spirit energy, it would send the spirit energy into the roots of the tree, allowing them to grow. But when the roots grew very long, they would become as stiff as iron, and then give birth to profoundly fruit S. Therefore, this piece of tree root contained a medicine aura as unique as the one inside the profoundly fruit. If you can melt this root and extract the impurities from it, this profoundly fruit's quality is just like normal, perfect. Su Meiyao said. This is not difficult for me. I have refined an entire sparite vein and refined countless mountains before. How difficult can this thing be? Chen Xiang directly threw the piece of root and the profoundly fruit into the pill furnace. He had only dealt with a few parts of the trash that could be removed. Does he know how to forge pills? The profoundly fruit was actually thrown in at the same time. Was he refining a weapon or concocting pills? That piece is harder to smelt than iron. Although there are quite a few medicine auras in that cut root, to refine this root to perfection is extremely difficult. Even though Zhang Yanqing possessed the heaven flame, he still did not do such a thing. Don't joke with me. If you guys were the one who threw this piece of tree root in, it might have exploded by now. Look at them, they are stable in all 4 directions. The fire's intensity fluctuates between big and small, and the fire's intensity changes quickly, but it's not chaotic. It's very regular. An old man stroked his long beard. There were a lot of people watching the compet. One tie-in at the entrance of Shi-Yi Pavilion. There were a lot of alchemists, but there were not many that could see through a bit, and as long as it was an alchemist with a high level of alchemy, they could see that Chen Xiang's foundation was extremely deep. Even Zhang Yanqing had no choice but to look at the person in front of him in a new light. According to the change in the fire force in Chen Xiang's furnace, a small portion of the alchemists knew that it was Chen Xiang's first time concocting this pill, and could also tell that Chen Xiang had used the foreseeing alchemy to correct his mistakes multiple times. If it was let the other alchemists do the concocting, they would probably be FLUS tiered the first time, but Chen Xiang did not. Lin Shi and Fan Yakan knew of Chen Xiang's abilities. They had all been defeated by Chen Xiang in the field of pill concocting, and Chen Xiang had taken first place among the sacred Dan realm back then. They now believed in Chen Xiang very much and looked forward to the pleasant surprise that Chen Xiang would bring them. The difficulty of the Qi Shindan's refining process was not very high, but if it was to be refined with that piece of tree root, it would be rather difficult. For Chen Xiang, refining that piece of tree root was not difficult. What was difficult was that, in terms of time, it was only for 1 day, and the other party was an extremely proficient genius who was able to refine this pill. Chen Xiang guessed that Zhang Yanqing definitely had the experience of refining this kind of pill many times before, and that the alchemist who could turn this type of medicinal herb into a pill was very popular in any power. As expected, Zhang Yanqing very quickly finished refining a furnace. He had only refined 1 pellet, and the final result was to compare the number of pellets he had concocted, and after Chen Xiang refined the root, he was confident that he could refine too. The heavenly fire is powerful indeed. It is much stronger than my heaven fire. Although Chen Xiang had his eyes closed, the situation inside Zhang Yanqing's pill furnace appeared in his mind. As a spirit cultivator, he could easily see through it with his strong divine power, not to mention that his opponent's pill furnace had won in an ordinary way. Not only were the materials hard to incinerate, even the medicine aura inside them were very barbaric. If there was a strong enough flame, those medicine aura would become much gentler under the appropriate strong flames. Having strong flames did not mean that one would burn it hard, but to control the heat of the flames according to the experience of the alchemist. If one did not suppress the medicine aura, it would lead to failure in concocting the pills. However, after your heaven fire evolved into a heaven flames, it will be close to the code. No matter how strong a fire of chaos is, they are still within the code. Su Meiyao said. Chen Xiang was multiple. 1. Tasking. As he refined his own set of Qi Shindan, he observed the situation inside Zhang Yanqing's pill furnace and learnt from it how to refine pills. He learnt a lot from this. His speed was extremely fast, causing many old alchemists who were watching to feel inferior. Many people guessed that Zhang Yanqing would only need half a day to refine all of the Qi Shindan's medicinal ingredients, and then, he would even be able to refine all of Chen Xiang's medicinal ingredients. Even so, Chen Xiang was still very calm. He was not nervous at all. This state of mind was quite admirable, but many people did not look favorably on him. In a few moments, Zhang Yanqing had refined another furnace and his speed was even faster than before, causing many alchemists to exclaim in disbelief. Now, many people understood why Zhang Yanqing was called the future pill saint. That guy still has 520 profoundly fruitas. According to his current fastest speed, he should be able to refine 50 batches in 2 hours. He can refine 2 of them in a single pot. Long Shui said, but he can only produce 1 pill per furnace. That guy still has 520 profoundly fruitas. According to his current fastest speed, he should be able to refine 50 batches in 2 hours. He can refine 2 of them in a single pot. Long Shui said, but he can only produce 1 pill per furnace. Chen Xiang was still refining his pills at a leisurely pace, not affected in the slightest by the other party's terrifying speed. This was because he was extremely confident in himself. As long as he was familiar with refining Qi Shindan, he would simulate the methods inside the heavenly alchemy. Based on the current situation, even if Su Meiyao understood Chen Xiang's ability very well, she didn't know how he would win. However, she knew that Chen Xiang would definitely use the heaven-defying method inside the heavenly alchemy. He has already made 10 batches, he hasn't even made a single batch. Looks like after he refines this furnace, he will finish refining his own ingredients before going back to refine his. It seems like he's definitely going to lose. He won't suffer much loss if he loses. At most, he'll only damage the reputation of the Shi Pavilion. With his current speed, he basically has no chance of winning, but why is he still so calm? Chen Xiang had now linked his consciousness with the furnace and sealed off the connection to the outside world, making the furnace exist only in his mind. It was as if there was only him and the furnace in this world, because he had reached the most crucial moment. My heaven fire is definitely not weaker than the heavenly fire. Previously, when I was going through the 1,000 refinements tribulation, I swallowed the fire seed condensed by the robbery power. The reason I am unable to unleash the power of the heaven fire right now is because in my heart, I am telling myself that after the heaven fire evolves, it will cause me a great deal of harm. Chen Xiang already felt an inexplicable sense of restlessness. He told himself rationally that now was not the time to release the heaven fire, because once released, his heaven fire would very likely evolve into a sky fire. With his current strength, he simply could not suppress that kind of terrifying flame. The reason why he had such a thought was because he had seen Li Baojuan's strong heaven flames. Now, he was even clearer on the convenient place for the genius pill refining compet. 1. Tian to use the heaven flames which made his heart crave for it. I myself am very clear that my current physical body cannot withstand the power of my heaven fire's evolution. I have already mastered immortal devil body, but I am still unable to withstand that flame. It could only mean that the fire was not as simple as the heaven flames. What kind of flame would that be? Chen Xiang suppressed the impulse in his heart, and allowed himself to become rational. Otherwise, he would lose his mind from the desire in his heart, and make an irreparable mistake. The heaven fire is already very powerful, but I haven't made full use of them yet. Chen Xiang unleashed his formidable divine power, allowing his divine power to drill into the insides of the medicinal herbs, allowing him to clearly see the structure of the herbs. After that, he brought the flames in and permeated through the fine parts of the herbs. This was the first time he had entered the interior of these medicinal herbs. Inside was a vast world, and this world was filled with many different colors, which was why it was emitting such a beautiful multicolored light. The world inside was full of vitality, which was why there was such a strange life force. After it was consumed by a person, it would produce other effects. Chen Xiang now understood the meaning of flower and world. At this moment, he knew that even though he was burning the world inside these medicinal herbs, he wasn't destroying them, but rather allowing them to blossom in the brilliance and color of his beautiful internal world. In that instant, the profoundity fruit and the chunk of tree root, which were originally difficult to smelt, instantly turned into a ball of soft, dazzling light. Chen Xiang never thought that he would actually have such a breakthrough. Furthermore, the reason why he refined the pellet was to destroy the medicinal ingredients, suppress them, tame the medicinal ingredients, and burn them all to become medicine aura. However, when he saw the inner world of these medicinal herbs, he wanted to make the inner world of these medicinal herbs disappear in the best way. It was beautiful and shocking, like a shooting star. He understood the world of these flowers and fruits, and inadvertently had a strange exchange with them, causing them to give up resisting, cooperating with his heaven fire, and melted into a colorful medicine aura. I didn't expect it to be wrong for so long. Chen Xiang opened his eyes and took a deep breath. He had already withdrawn his spiritual will and flames. Seeing him like this, many people thought that he had failed and gave up. But at this moment, the medicine aura inside the pill furnace had already gradually fused with the medicinal powder, and quickly turned into a cyclone. Following Chen Xiang's will, the ball of air split into three, turned into 3 BAL S of air, and spun quickly. The most critical and difficult time of concocting the pill, he actually did nothing. However, many people were able to understand what he had done, and it actually caused the medicine aura in the pill furnace to gather its own consciousness, forming its own pill. Many alchemists had noticed that when Chen Xiang had not completed the core formation stage, he had concealed all of his power and no longer used his flame and consciousness to control the pill furnace. Even Su Meiyao didn't know how Chen Xiang did it. She guessed that it was a method from the heavenly alchemy, but it didn't seem like it. Chen Xiang opened the lid of the pill furnace and green light shot out. It was as if a treasure was born, causing everyone to be dumbstruck. What was even more surprising was the 3 light green pills that floated out of the furnace. Unexpectedly, there were 3 Qi Shen Dan S formed, and their quality had reached its peak. The 3 Qi Shen Dan S had an extremely bizarre life force coiling around them, making people feel as if these 3 pellets were 3 little life forms, and that the aroma was like the spring breeze, gently spreading out in all directions, releasing a fragrance that would cause one's heart to tremble, showing just how high the quality of the 3 Qi Shen Dan S was. To be able to refine 3 pellets with the roots, it was still unbelievable because even if one used the most perfect and highest quality profoundity fruit to refine, they would only be able to push the price to the limit by 3 pellets. The 3 Qi Shen Dan in front of him were like treasures. There were already people who planned to buy these Qi Shen Dan at a high price after the compet. One Tian ended. Ho Feixiao sat in the palanquin, watching until his eyes turned red. His heart was filled with jealousy. He could naturally see that this alchemist was not ordinary. He felt that this genius alchemist should either be roped in or killed. Although he managed to refine more than 10 batches, he knew that if they were to compare their value, the over 10 Qi Shen Dan S he refined would be far inferior to Chen Xiang. Furthermore, Chen Xiang had only used 1 portion of the medicinal ingredients, but he had refined 10. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, Chen Xiang calmly placed the 3 Qi Shen Dan S into an empty jade box, and then casually took out 10 of them from the pile of medicinal herbs. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, Chen Xiang calmly placed the 3 Qi Shen Dan S into an empty jade box, and then casually took out 10 of them from the pile of medicinal herbs. After adding some supplementary herbs, he actually stuffed these 10 portions into the pill furnace. Today he was going to refine 10 portions in one go, and he even had root. That was equivalent to 10 pieces of black iron. How was he going to refine them? Many old alchemists were shocked. This kind of refining technique shocked the world, and many old alchemists suddenly felt that the person in front of them had a very familiar feeling. Lin Shi and Fan Yakan's memories of him were still fresh in their minds, and now that they could see Chen Xiang's delay skill again, they were even more surprised. Before, many people thought that Chen Xiang would definitely lose, that he would definitely defeat Chen Xiang with a very good result. But now it was hard to say, because Chen Xiang did not use common sense to refine pills when he was refining pills, and had completely broken through many of the iron rules set for when he was refining pills. After Chen Xiang had comprehended that method just now, he was trying again. He did not even bother to process the herbs, and after placing it in the pill furnace, he released his divine power to explore the world inside the herbs. Before, when he used the heavenly alchemy to refine mountains, refine lands, and even sparite vein, these things were all extremely large in scale, allowing him to see the world of these things very directly. On the other hand, the heavenly alchemy could refine the world, and as long as he could see through some things, he could release flames. The heavenly alchemy was able to refine many large-scale objects, and all of them had been turned into intense flames by borrowing the spirit energy of the heaven and earth. And now, Chen Xiang had already observed the insides of these medicinal ingredients. Within these strange and unique herbs, there was also a world. It was just that this world was not known to anyone. As long as he could establish a miraculous connection with these strange and unusual herbs, he could make these medicinal ingredients gentle and easily condense them into pills. Now he wanted to use the heavenly alchemy, just to get stronger flames, so that he could quickly burn these medicinal ingredients from the inside out. At this moment, many worlds appeared in Qin Xiang's mind, all of them being the worlds of those medicinal ingredients. They were similar to what he had seen before, and unknowingly, he had already guided the flames in and infiltrated them. However, their speed was not fast enough. What he needed to do now was to refine 10 batches of ingredients simultaneously in a single pill furnace. It was equivalent to refining 10 batches of pills in a single pill furnace. This was also the Dewan refining method in the heavenly alchemy, but in the past, he had released 10 magic method furnaces at the same time, and now he had released 10 magic method furnaces in one pill furnace. Of course, because the SPAC inside was too cramped, it was very difficult to do it. He could only burn all 10 portions of herbs before splitting them into 30 cyclones. If this wasn't a compet 1 tie-in, he could still condense these 10 sets of medicinal herbs into a pill, but that would require a lot of time. There's not enough fire. As expected, the profoundity fruit's roots are hard to melt. It's even more difficult than when I was refining mountains. Chen Xiang thought, but he knew that the spirit qi contained in the mountains were limited, and had even dispersed, and could not compare to the profoundity fruit's root. He had to refine many mountains, in order to condense a high-quality pill. Heaven's sacred city was on the 18th floor of the sacred Dan realm, which was very high. Furthermore, the immortal energy in the city was very dense. Chen Xiang had never tried to turn the immortal energy into fire before. Using the method in the heavenly alchemy, he began to let the furnace absorb a large amount of immortal energy, fusing it with the heaven fire in the furnace and transforming it into a strong flame. At this time, everyone present could see a few streams of mist drilling into Chen Xiang's furnace, and the fire energy in Chen Xiang's furnace was getting stronger and stronger, comparable to Zhang Yanqing's, actually borrowing immortal's qi to strengthen the flames. This method was something many alchemists looked forward to. Ho Feixiao gritted his teeth when he saw this. This alchemist with such talent was actually inside the Shi-Yi pavilion. At this moment, he was somewhat regretful that he allowed Zhang Yanqing to mess things up, because this would definitely affect Zhang Yanqing. Although he was extremely arrogant, he still knew his own limit. He had already refined 20 batches of Qi Shindan, and had successfully formed 20 Qi Shindan, but when the 20 Qi Shindan were added together, it felt like they were not even comparable to the 3 perfect Qi Shindan that Chen Xiang had refined. Chen Xiang was currently in a very good state, his entire body was completely clean. The herbs in the pill furnace were just like before. Suddenly they started burning from the inside. They quickly dissolved into a gentle medicine aura and medicinal powder. After that the two of them intertwined, fused, and finally merged together, forming a very big ball of air. Chen Xiang only thought about it carefully, and the ball of air automatically turned into 30 small BALL. He had not tried condensing 30 pills in a single furnace before, because the current furnace did not have any special functions. If it was a Yanlong furnace, then there was a lot of SPAC inside, and there was also time to speed up, but even if he did not use the Yanlong furnace, he could still make it this far. Everyone was dumbstruck, especially when Chen Xiang retracted all of his energy. However, the activity inside the furnace was extremely intense, and many people had already guessed that Chen Xiang was planning to refine 30 pills in one go. But now that Chen Xiang had stopped, the interior of the pill furnace started to calm down. The speed at which he was refining one furnace was actually faster than Zhang Yanqing's. The lid of the pill furnace opened, and the green-colored light that gushed out was like a dragon emerging from the sea. It howled out and pierced through the clouds, dazzling everyone's eyes and making their souls tremble. Is he even human? Many people could not help but think that the person in front of them was an existence rumored to transcend the mortal world. Only the rare pill and holy level would have such earth-shattering power when refining pills. 30 pills. Everyone suddenly felt their bodies go soft, one furnace for 30 pills. The quality was exceptional. They had already threw Zhang Yanqing to the side. Zhang Yanqing had only used around 20 pills, and had even used 40 more sets of ingredient. At this time, everyone felt that there was no longer any need to compete anymore. The outcome of the battle had already been decided, especially Zhang Yanqing's current state, which had a great impact on him. Hou Feixiao gritted his teeth and clenched his fist. He wanted to kill this genius alchemist right now, because he knew it would be very difficult to win him over. Zhang Yanqing took a deep breath. At this time, he had also condensed a pill, and a qi shindan with a quality not inferior to Chen Xiang's appeared in the pill furnace. This made him immediately feel confident. Chen Xiang closed his eyes. He did not immediately refine any pellets, but looked like he was recovering his qi. This made Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao extremely happy. They thought that Chen Xiang had to rest because he had exhausted himself. Many people felt the same way, but was that really the case? Before Chen Xiang recovered, he used up a lot of energy because he was prepared to refine even more in one go, and even if he succeeded, he would need some time to digest the huge gains he had just made. This was a type of breakthrough in cultivation, and only through luck and coincidence could raise his cultivation through comprehension. Before Chen Xiang recovered, he used up a lot of energy because he was prepared to refine even more in one go, and even if he succeeded, he would need some time to digest the huge gains he had just made. This was a type of breakthrough in cultivation, and only through luck and coincidence could raise his cultivation through comprehension. Seeing Chen Xiang not making a move for a long time, Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao started to mock him in their hearts. And relying on the fact that Zhang Yanqing had the heaven flames and his talent in alchemy, the quality of the pills refined within each furnace was extremely high. This was also because of the pressure that Chen Xiang had given him earlier, which was why he had no choice but to improve. But he still needed 2 sets of ingredients to concoct a single pill, and he could not refine all of the roots like Chen Xiang did. Many people understood that Chen Xiang had already grasped the trick to refining the root. In the blink of an eye, more than 4 hours had passed, but Chen Xiang still remained motionless. He closed his eyes and meditated, while Zhang Yanqing had already refined more than 130 qi shindan in 100 batches. Just in that short amount of time, he was able to turn these abandoned medicinal herbs into so many qi shindan. This made many people understand more deeply how terrifying a terrifying thing was for a power to possess such a genius alchemist. Just when Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao were extremely calm and collected, Chen Xiang finally made his move. He actually took out 20 profoundly fruit s with roots, but the pill furnace definitely could not hold that many, causing everyone to open their eyes wide and look carefully, wanting to see what exactly he was going to do. However, Chen Xiang had only placed 10 into the cauldron, while leaving the other 10 outside. However, he had not sealed the lid. He had actually wanted to open it to concoct the pill, if not for the fact that he didn't want to expose his ident. 1. Chen Xiang could have used a relatively large magic method furnace to refine it, which was much more convenient than his current state. The cover was useless to him because he could conjure a transparent cover and cover it with it. This way, the medicine aura would not be lost. This time, he would still absorb immortal energy and enter. Using the heavenly alchemy, he turned the immortal energy into a raging fire and assimilated it into his heaven fire, causing the flames to become even stronger. Many alchemists were able to distinguish the degree of melting of the medicinal herbs from the clouds, and the rate at which the clouds were melting was also extremely fast, which meant that the melting speed was also very fast. This made it hard for people to believe that the 10 black iron-like roots were like paper, which melted in an instant. This was something that even Zhang Yanqing could not do. Zhang Yanqing had the skyfire, and he had previously tried to melt the tree root. Although it could be melted, it would take a very long time. When the flame was burning these strange flowers and plants, the strange flowers and plants would instinctively release their powers to resist, preventing the flame from penetrating inside. When the flame was burning these strange flowers and plants, the strange flowers and plants would instinctively release their powers to prevent the flame from infiltrating inside of them. But right now, Chun Xiang was directly igniting a fire inside these spirit herbs, and was burning it from the inside out. This was because he was able to enter the world inside these spirit herbs, conduct a profound exchange with them, and open the doors to these spirit medicines, which was why it was so easy for him to burn these medicinal herbs. However, currently, it was limited to Qi Shindan's medicinal ingredient. He did not know if this move would work on other medicinal ingredients, nor did he know what would happen when facing higher-ranked medicinal ingredients. Seeing Chun Xiang using his strength once again, the pressure on Hou Feixiao and Hou Feixiao was extremely great, especially on Hou Feixiao. He loved to show his face, so if he lost, not only would he be laughed at, the legend of their Super Yuan Mountain's genius, alchemist, would also be broken. In a few moments, Chun Xiang successfully refined the 10 sets of spirit herbs into 30 pellet. This made Zhang Yanqing's eyes turn red, and with Chun Xiang's high utilization rate, he could refine 30 pellets out of 10 pellets, but Zhang Yanqing needed 60 pellets to refine 30 pellets. After the 30 peak quality S were out, the flames inside the furnace had still not extinguished. After Chun Xiang placed the Qi Shindan into the jade box, he actually hit the side of the pill furnace lightly and pierced a hole in the middle of the pill furnace. Seeing this scene, everyone started to shout frantically in their hearts, thinking that Chun Xiang had gone crazy, to actually damage his pill furnace at this time. Bang! Chun Xiang then pierced through another hole in the middle of the other side of the pill furnace, and then created another 2 holes on both sides of the furnace. Chun Xiang's actions made everyone puzzled, but Chun Xiang quickly told them the answer. The flames inside the pill furnace were still burning. Although there were 4 holes, the flames inside the furnace did not leak out. Only seeing that Chun Xiang had quickly filled the holes at both sides of the pill furnace with profoundly fruit S and some supporting medicinal herbs. At the same time, he had also used a secret technique to quickly fill the holes at the bottom of the pill furnace with immortal energy. Although there were holes on the pill furnace, they were all sealed by Chun Xiang. The light rays from the holes were burning the roots of the trees, while the dregs were shooting out from the mouth of the furnace and into the sky. It was truly a quick method. Everyone could see that this broken pill furnace seemed to have some sort of mysterious power. It was crazily devouring immortal energy to strengthen the flames, and the speed at which the elixirs melted was extremely fast. All of the impurities sprayed out from the top. After the spirit medicine in the furnace melted, it rushed to the top layer of the furnace, and slowly condensed into a pill there. And at this time, Chun Xiang once again poured the spirit medicine into the center layer. He actually wanted to continuously refine the pill. He really wanted to know what kind of evil power Chun Xiang used to be able to defy the heavens. This was the first time he had seen this kind of pill refinement technique, and he had never even heard of it before. Hou Feixiao's current gaze could kill. His face was full of jealousy and anger. This was purely because of his own mental state. He could not bear to see others in such a state. He was strong, but in the sacred Dan realm, the alchemist was the king, and Fan Yakan's pill-refining skills were much more profound than his. Even Lin Shi was much stronger than him. If not for the fact that Fan Yakan was injured, her strength would also have already far surpassed his. And now, in Fan Yakan's and Lin Shi's shop, there was actually such a heaven-shocking and heavenly-looking alchemist. Even Hou Feixiao had to admire his pill-refining skills. The biggest drawback of using heavenly alchemy to convert immortal energy into fire was that it consumed a lot of divine power. Furthermore, the fire was not his own, so he needed more control over it, so using it for a short period of time wouldn't be a problem. Although Chun Xiang's furnace was full of big holes, there was not a single bit of qi leaking out from within. The entire furnace was extremely smooth, which was truly amazing. The fire within the pill furnace was intense, and from the holes, one could see the raging fire inside, while the surrounding immortal qi was still pouring into Chen Xiang's pill furnace. The fire within the pill furnace was intense, and from the holes, one could see the raging fire inside, while the surrounding immortal qi was still pouring into Chen Xiang's pill furnace. Chen Xiang knew that his own divine power wouldn't last long. If he kept at it for too long, a large amount of his divine power would be consumed. Given his current situation, he needed to maintain about half of the power in his body in order for him to be able to avoid danger. "Come in." Chen Xiang waved his hand and grabbed towards the pile of spirit herbs. Then a huge hand formed from white mist appeared in the air and grabbed all the spirit herbs used to refine qi shindan and moved them all to his furnace. Then, he began to crazily stuff the spirit medicine into the furnace and at the same time, seeped his divine power into the inside of the spirit herbs, allowing the flames to burn outwards from the inside. The spiritual herbs that had just entered the pill furnace quickly turned into mist, and rays of light filled the air. In the blink of an eye, Chen Xiang had already stuffed dozens of sets of medicinal ingredients into the furnace, causing the medicine aura S to condense in the furnace, causing the light clouds to become even stronger. The light beams coming out from the holes in the pill furnace quickly weakened, because Chen Xiang had already condensed the pill. However, the moment the pill was formed, the light beams were extremely bright and gushed out again. This way, Chen Xiang could condense pills quickly and continuously. This method almost made many alchemists kneel. As long as it was an alchemist, there was no one who did not want to reach this level. Chen Xiang's pill refining skills were strong to begin with, and he had an extraordinary talent. Now that he had cultivated the heavenly alchemy, he had once refined countless mountains and vast lands into pills. Of course, this was also his peak level of alchemy. If he was asked to refine a high-grade ground-level pill, he would probably not be able to do so, but he also planned to try it again when he had the time, and use the method to refine a qi shindan. Many people were jealous and envious. Even though it was clearly an abandoned elixir, it was still able to concoct such a pill and refine it so quickly. This made many alchemists upset about the abandoned elixirs that they lost back then. In just 2 hours, Chen Xiang had refined all of the abandoned Profoundie fruit. There were 400 of them in total, and all of them were successful. I must buy one of these qi shindan. Who knows, this person might become a pill saint in the future. I have to buy them too. It looks like he's going to win. All these qi shindan will go to him. He who can calculate for me, how much is his qi shindan worth? What is he doing? A person suddenly shouted in alarm. Chen Xiang came to Zhang Yanqing's side, and actually picked up Zhang Yanqing's medicine, and started to refine pills using his crazy method just now. There was a rule that stated that if the person who refined the first medicinal herb had more medicinal herbs, they could use it to refine the other party's medicinal herb. However, everyone felt that it would be better for Chen Xiang, because Chen Xiang gave more pills and the quality was better than Zhang Yanqing. This action was equivalent to fiercely stepping on the faces of Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao, which made them extremely furious. Especially Hou Feixiao. He had wanted to attack Chen Xiang multiple times, but he knew that if he did so, he would be mocked by the crowd in the future. Zhang Yanqing still had more than 300 pills that he had yet to refine, and they had all been refined by Chen Xiang at his fastest speed. After another 2 hours, Chen Xiang had used up more than half of his divine power and innate qi, but he had still managed to refine more than 2,000 qi shindan, causing the two's medicinal ingredients to be completely refined. Zhang Yanqing looked at his own few qi shindan, then looked at Chen Xiang's big basket of qi shindan, clenched his fists, and a wave of jealousy and hatred rose in his heart. He was the future pill saint of the great sacred Dan realm, the #1 young alchemist, yet he had lost so miserably. The victor had already been decided long ago, so no one was surprised at this moment. You've lost, Fan Yakan said excitedly. For Qin Xiang to be able to refine all those abandoned spirit herbs into 2000 Qi Shin Dan, this level was something that no one in the entire sacred Dan realm could match. Zhang Yanqing angrily looked at Fan Yakan and, especially at Qin Xiang's calm expression, making him the most furious. He had defeated, but he was not happy at all, as if winning against him was something insignificant. He had never been looked down upon so much before. Hou Feixiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. He walked out of the sedan and slightly frowned. I have never heard of your name before. Are you a alchemist? Or was it that Fan Yakan had invited them today? Qin Xiang said, I'm just a nameless junior. It's normal that you don't know me. I joined the Shi-Yi Pavilion 3 days ago. As long as you are a alchemist, you can accept the challenge on behalf of the Shi-Yi Pavilion. This doesn't count. You just arrived. Hou Feixiao's eyes flashed. Anyone could see the light of annihilation in his eyes. He was actually going to act shamelessly. Why doesn't it count? Fan Yakan was slightly angry. I admit that I have underestimated your Shi-Yi Pavilion. I originally thought that all of your alchemists were a bunch of unranked fellows. I didn't know that your Shi-Yi Pavilion had such an alchemist. Otherwise I would have invited even better alchemists to compete with you. Hou Feixiao laughed complacently. So you're saying that you're asking Zhang Yanqing to challenge our group of unrated people? Is that also telling us that Zhang Yanqing is unranked? Qin Xiang sneered. I think that a few skilled alchemists would be able to tell that this is my first time refining a Qi Shindan, and at the very most, I can only refine a middle-grade ground-level pellet. According to what I know, this alchemist you invited can refine a heaven-level pellet. Zhang Yanqing was so angry that his teeth were about to shatter. Hou Feixiao's face froze as he gritted his teeth and said angrily, Arrogant fellow, I'll smash your mouth to pieces today. While talking, Hou Feixiao's fists were like lightning. It was wrapped with a layer of terrifying golden mist. It looked to be a very powerful trap. On top of it were many sharp thorns. It looked extremely terrifying. Stronger than a fist? Qin Xiang laughed inwardly, and without dodging at all, he actually punched out to receive it, and his aura was even more overbearing than Hou Feixiao's. Hou Feixiao suddenly attacking Qin Xiang was already within many people's expectations. Previously, Hou Feixiao had done many of these things, but Fan Yakan had always been at such a disadvantage. When everyone saw the golden THORNY fist, they thought that Qin Xiang was done for, but after seeing Qin Xiang's fierce counterattack, they were all shocked. This seemingly weak alchemist, her strength was actually this strong. Bang! The two punches clashed, causing a loud sound to ring out. The ground trembled for a moment, then crackled with a crackling sound. Hou Feixiao's arm seemed to have some sort of explosion. The flesh and bones within cracked and shattered, and flesh flew everywhere. Ah! Hou Feixiao cried out miserably as he cried out in pain, It's the power of chaos. Who the hell are you? How do you know how to use the power of chaos? The little bit of chaotic force that Qin Xiang used was something that he had absorbed from Fan Yakan's body. Although it was only a little, after he mixed it with the dragon power, it unexpectedly had an unexpected effect and directly subdued this Hou Feixiao. The little bit of chaotic force that Qin Xiang used was something that he had absorbed from Fan Yakan's body. Although it was only a little, after he mixed it with the dragon power, it unexpectedly had an unexpected effect and directly subdued this Hou Feixiao. The few experts who were protecting Hou Feixiao rushed forward, but were stopped by Hou Feixiao. Let's go. Those who could use the power of primal chaos definitely could not be trifled with. Although Hou Feixiao was rude and unreasonable, his grandfather had often reminded him so, especially when he met people with no known surname. How could Hou Feixiao forget about his previous pill refining skills? The chaotic mountain was very big. Although it was very chaotic right now and the Super Yuan Mountain was the strongest, there were still many experts in the chaotic mountain, especially some great alligators or Dan Immortales. In the chaotic mountain, there were only a few people who were familiar with how to use the power of primal chaos. Therefore, even if Hou Feixiao suffered a huge loss, he could not continue on. Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao were escorted by the elders, and before they left, Zhang Yanqing looked at Chen Xiang with a gaze that made everyone's hearts tremble. The danger of the Shi-Yi Pavilion had finally been resolved. Chen Xiang gave Fan Yakan 1,000 Qi Shindan, and Fan Yakan did not want them for free. He gave Chen Xiang a lot of medicinal ingredients and high-quality pills, such as those high-quality ground level S and 5 elements profound Dan S. After exiting the city, he rushed towards the Zilan mountain valley. Before he left, he also warned Fan Yakan and Lin Shi to be on their guard against Hou Feixiao, and to escape the moment things went wrong, even if there were mountains ahead of them. These guys are really annoying, I knew it would be like this. Chen Xiang did not change his appearance. Instead, he left the city the day he competed with Zhang Yanqing in pill refining, which was why he was followed. But Chen Xiang did it on purpose. If he was to leave the city quietly, no one would notice him. Like he had expected, Zhang Yanqing and Hou Feixiao were here. He had disguised himself and followed behind the 2 old men. It seems like they don't have any intention of plotting against you, Long Shui said. Could it be that they wanted to confirm that you had left the Heaven Sacred City and then make their move against that young couple? Bai Yuyu laughed coldly. This is our chance to get rid of them and prevent future troubles. That was why he was able to change his appearance and lure all of them out. However, he felt that Hou Feixiao and the others must have followed him for some other reason. This Super Yuan Mountain really does have some strength. The 2 old fellows that they sent out are not weak either, and should be able to match up to those Sage Realm experts. If you don't use magical corruption gases, you won't be able to kill them, Long Shui said. They are indeed very strong. If I move further away from the Heaven Sacred City, would they attack me? Although he had a different ident. 1. Tai now, if he was discovered using the magical corruption gas, it would harm Fan Yakan and the others greatly. Chen Xiang used Heaven Tour method, allowing his own spiritual will to transform into an invisible spirit body, and floated out, approaching and eavesdropping on the people following him. After leaving the Heaven Sacred City, Hou Feixiao and the others who were following him suddenly increased their speed and approached him. This fellow is not from our chaotic mountain. He uses the power of chaos that he does not. Fortunately, the 2 elders were able to see through it, so we can act against him and force him to hand over that pill refining method. Hou Feixiao laughed sinisterly. I have solved it. I'm not afraid of that brat Fan Yakan anymore. Lin Lian will be mine sooner or later. Then let me kill him with my own hands. Originally, his fame had plummeted when he lost to Chen Xiang, which made him even more furious at Chen Xiang. You guys should move faster. Don't forget that we still have to go to the meeting. You, Great Elder Primordius, is waiting for us. An elder said indifferently. Is that meeting important? When grandfather sent the message back, his voice was very serious. Hou Feixiao said, It's important, it's related to the treasures in Chaotic Mountain. You should know that a group of people suddenly came over from another world some time ago, and those people were strong and weak. All of the big shots in the different forces have a map. An elder said, It is said that Chen Xiang, who caused great losses to our Chaotic Mountain in the past, came over at that time, and killed many people of our Super Yuan Mountain. I heard that Du Yenyao from the Du family is his good friend. Hou Feixiao could not help but reveal a trace of jealousy on his face, but to think that he would fall in love with leader's grandson's eyes, this guy refused to back down in the slightest, and insisted on SNATC, hing it away from me. After hearing their conversation, Chen Xiang could immediately guess that the broken map was the piece of stone in his hand. The piece of stone was hidden by the ancestors of the Purple Moon Imperial Land, and now that one had fallen on his body, it meant that the ancient powers had obtained a complete map. "Let's do it from the front," Hou Feixiao said. After Chen Xiang heard this, he quickened his pace and entered a forest at the side. This made Hou Feixiao and the others anxious. Just as they were unable to see Chen Xiang had activated the power of the spatial laws within his body, allowing himself to travel through space to stay away from Hou Feixiao and the others. However, the perception body he released before was still staring at Hou Feixiao and the others. Hou Feixiao had such a strong killing intent toward him, and he even planned to kill Fan Yakan and the others mercilessly. "He's in the forest, there's traces of his aura here. He's on guard, it seems like we've been discovered, chase him," an elder said anxiously. This was an aura that Chen Xiang had intentionally left behind, and it was something he had done to delay them. "Little naughty dragon, hurry up and use the Heaven Tour method and use the fastest speed possible to go to Zilan Mountain Valley." Bai Xing was a starry sky white tiger race. After awakening the inheritance of her memories, she had become very strong. If she were to come here, even if she could not beat the two elders, but if she were to summon her stars, she would definitely be discovered by the white tiger. As long as the white tiger arrived, he had nothing to be afraid of. "I wonder if the big white cat can sense it." Long Shui knew what Chen Xiang was thinking, and muttered a few words, before immediately following Chen Xiang's instructions. Her divine power was stronger than Chen Xiang's, and her Heaven Tour method was also much stronger than Chen Xiang's. An old man from the Super Yuan Mountain shouted at Chen Xiang, "Don't run, we have no ill intentions towards you, we only want to invite a person like you to our Super Yuan Mountain as a guest, we will definitely treat you as an important guest. Even a fool wouldn't believe you." He continued to flee in all directions in the forest, trying to buy as much time as he could so that Long Shui could find Bai Xing. Moreover, they had chased him for so long. They could only occasionally catch a glimpse of Chen Xiang's shadow, which made them extremely impatient. Moreover, they had chased him for so long. They could only occasionally catch a glimpse of Chen Xiang's shadow, which made them extremely impatient. Had just refined so many qi shindan that he could finally use one now to recover his innate qi and divine power. Even if he were to eat one, he would be able to rely on the power of the spatial laws to travel through space and circle in the forest when facing powerful old fellows. They did not use their fastest speed because Hou Feixiao and Zhang Yanqing could not keep up with their speed. However, if they were to lose sight of Hou Feixiao and Zhang Yanqing, they would be worried that these two juniors would be set up again. Now that they were stuck in a dilemma, they definitely couldn't withdraw because their actions had already been discovered. If they couldn't take down this person in front of them, who knew what kind of revenge they would take? The two old men had lived for so long that they were able to see the origins of the person they were pursuing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that supreme pill refining technique and chaotic force that even they couldn't cultivate. Chen Xiang, Hou Feixiao and the rest of the four walked around the forest for more than an hour, causing the two old fellows to wish that they could destroy the forest, but they could not guarantee that they could kill Chen Xiang. Their original goal was to capture Chen Xiang alive and force him to reveal the secret manuals for refining pills, but they no longer had that thought. They only wanted to kill Chen Xiang quickly. "Elder, why hasn't he left the forest? Is there a trick here?" Hou Feixiao said worriedly. He was already out of breath, and using all his strength, he and Zhang Yanqing could only barely keep up with the two elders. "No, he didn't know that we were following him. He only found out later that he was fighting against us in this forest because he wanted to find an opportunity to kill you too." The elder's words scared Hou Feixiao. "Why don't we go?" Hou Feixiao clenched his teeth, although he wanted to kill Chen Xiang very much, but he suddenly felt that his life was in danger, and could not help but feel afraid. He had lost an arm to Chen Xiang, so he was very clear that the elder did not speak ill of him. His arm had also only recovered from the treatment of some precious medicine. Now that he saw that the person in front of him was so difficult to deal with that the two elders were unable to take him down, he felt scared. If this person doesn't die, then we will be in trouble in the future. He is currently fighting with us, and he did not use the fastest speed. Moreover, he has an extremely strong concealment ability. If we let him go today, then once you guys leave Super Yuan Mountain, it will be very troublesome. Su Yun said in a low voice. The elder said. The other elder nodded in agreement. This person is constantly maintaining his peak state. He's keeping an eye on the other two. Zhang Yanqing's face paled as he clenched his fists tightly and gritted his teeth. Clan Elder, does that mean that he's purposefully fighting with us because he wants to kill the two of us? That's right. However, you don't have to worry. As long as the two of you are by our side, it will be difficult for him to have a chance. Chen Xiang was extremely calm, and he had the same thoughts as the other two elders. He must kill the 4 people who were chasing him, otherwise, Fan Yakin would be in deep trouble in the future. We got in contact with the little white cat. She just happened to leave the Zilong Mountain Valley. I have already used your voice to send a message to her. Long Shui said, wait until she gets closer to here before we can talk to her. Chen Xiang owed a debt of kindness to Bai Xing, allowing this lonely starry sky white tiger race to know that she was not the bane of beasts. She also knew that he was a strong race, and that he had given her great power. The distance from here to Zilong Mountain Valley was quite far, but Bai Xing was from there, so of course she had her heaven-defying abilities. She turned into a shooting star and flew towards the forest at a high altitude. Chen Xiang dragged this group of people for another hour, and at this time, Bai Xing had already entered the forest. When Chen Xiang's divine sense entered and saw Bai Xing, he immediately sent a sound transmission to her. Sister Bai Xing, quickly hide. Chen Xiang, I never thought that you would get into so much trouble the moment you arrived at the sacred Dan realm. Rest A.S. Assured, you have done us 4 sisters such a great favor. I will definitely not let anything happen to you. Bai Xing's clear and sweet voice came out. 4 sisters. He only remembered the 3 sisters Yan Xilan, Yun Zhu and Bai Xing. And Yan Yao, she's already one of us. Bai Xing replied with a chuckle, but there was a trace of a sigh in his laughter, because a major change had just occurred in Du family and Du Yanyao had also received a huge blow. After Bai Xing entered the forest, she immediately concealed herself. She knew that Chen Xiang's true strength wasn't very strong, but his potential was incomparably great. That day, when they thought that Chen Xiang had died, they couldn't wait to kill Primordius. Now that they found out that Chen Xiang was still alive and had created a big commotion, they were extremely happy. Currently, the people chasing me are Zhang Yanqing, Ho Feixiao and 2 elders from Super Yuan Mountain. I can take care of them, but those 2 elders are too troublesome. Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Bai Xing, and Bai Xing slowly got closer to them. The Starry Sky White Tiger race was a branch of the White Tiger fighting race, and there must be a celestial slain method in the inheritance of memories so that they could dominate the star domain. Back then, the White Tiger had also said that when he obtained the heaven-earth killing method, he would generously give it to the other powerful people to learn, allowing everyone to choose the most suitable sect to cultivate and pass on their legacy. Of course, at that time, the White Tiger was said down to his friends, but later on, the descendants of his friends were all unfriendly towards the White Tiger fighting race, with many conflicts, and their strengths were equal. Is it really this little demon? This is the grandson of Primordius, and his talent is not bad. If we kill him, Primordius will definitely be very angry. Bai Xing's voice carried a mischievous smile. I'm not the one looking for trouble with him. He's the one looking for trouble with me. Chen Xiang laughed. Sister Bai Xing, it's enough as long as you summon a small star down. As long as I distract the attention of the two old fellows and give me some time, I can kill off those two little fellows. Little star? Is that it? Speaking of which, I've never used it before. According to my inherited memories, that move was very powerful. I was worried it would affect you. Bai Xing was a little worried. If it was to summon a normal giant star, it would have to be done every 500 years. Bai Xing had already summoned it once last time, but the little star, that Chen Xiang mentioned, could be summoned frequently because that head was very small. But its power was not weak. It was a very powerful secret skill in the Starry Sky White Tiger race. No, don't worry about it. Chen Xiang also knew the destructive power of the little star. He got quite a lot of information about the Starry Sky White Tiger race from the White Tiger. This was not Bai Xing's first time plotting against someone on his behalf. Last time at Heaven's Sacred City, she had summoned an extremely large star to hold back a group of strong warriors, allowing Chen Xiang to successfully obtain those Chaos Fire tokens. This was not Bai Xing's first time plotting against someone on his behalf. Last time at Heaven's Sacred City, she had summoned an extremely large star to hold back a group of strong warriors, allowing Chen Xiang to successfully obtain those Chaos Fire tokens. I'm starting. Take note. A little star, that was only the size of a person, was emitting a red light, and fell down from the sky with a long red tail. That wave of extremely powerful star power was condensed inside the little star, and with an extremely fast speed, it rushed down, creating a terrifying pressure. In that moment, all the star power in the star domain was gathered together by a single force and then turned into a S of fiery red energy, Rus. I plusing towards that small star that was burning and falling at an even faster speed. When these two combined, the resulting shockwave was more than half of 18 layers. What is that? Under the rapid descent of the star attack, the two elders could clearly sense it. Hoo. The small star was not big, but it was very powerful. When it fell from the sky, the strong impact force broke a large part of the forest, and in the blink of an eye, the trees in the dense forest were all crushed into pieces of wood. Then, it was enveloped by a red light. The blood-red glow carried an extremely high temperature. It broke apart the wooden log and ignited a raging inferno, causing the earth to violently shake and crack. Be careful. He had already sensed that the thing that had landed was extremely terrifying, and now, it was already too late for them to escape. The two elders leaped up and released their vast power that was as vast as the sea. They punched out their strongest punch towards the falling little star. The power in their punches was like a raging river as they surged forward with frightening power. Boom! The terrifying fists of the two Super Yuan Mountain Elders smashed onto the small piece of meteorite. In that instant, a deafening explosion accompanied with a burst of water-like light that stirred up an incomparably berserk astral wind, swept across the entire piece of land, and the forest where Chen Xiang and the rest were in, was even more severely damaged. There was some distance between this place and the Heaven's Sacred City, but everyone in the Heaven's Sacred City knew about it. Moreover, there were many powers near the Heaven's Sacred City, so this kind of earth-shattering event had already alarmed many big shots. Are you okay? At that time, Bai Xing had already hidden high up in the sky. She looked down at the ground that was filled with hot air, and sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang through the divine sense Chen Xiang left in her sea of consciousness. I'm fine. Chen Xiang walked on this land that was filled with ruins, completely unharmed. This was because just now, he used the power of the spatial laws to travel to a sea that was separated from this place and hid within. However, he had used up a lot of his energy, so he could only hide for a short period of time. The two elders of the Super Yuan Mountain were powerful as expected. Not only did they destroy that small star, they also managed to preserve Zhang Yanqing's and Hou Feixiao's lives. If not for them breaking that meteorite in time, then if it had hit the ground, the power would have been even stronger. but they were hurt. Hou Feixiao and Zhang Yanqing sat paralyzed beside the two clan elders, with blood flowing from their mouths. There was even a silver-white light barrier on their bodies, that was used to protect them. Is this something that guy made? Hou Feixiao's face paled. He never thought that his opponent would be so powerful to actually be able to injure two elders of the Super Yuan Mountain S. It shouldn't be. Because he has already disappeared. It seems like he is a meteorite that came from beyond the heavens. An elder was also uncertain. However, he still chose to believe that this was the power of nature. Otherwise, it would be too terrifying. Zhang Yanqing heaved a sigh of relief, and could not help but laugh. Haha! Even the heavens do not like him. Good. Hou Feixiao also laughed out loud. There's nothing left of you, your soul is gone, your death was truly tragic, this is the result of going against me. Just as they were laughing, Chen Xiang had traveled through S.P.A.C. and arrived behind Hou Feixiao. The moment Chen Xiang appeared, the scorching ground that had been destroyed by the meteorite was suddenly enveloped by a strong killing intent, causing gusts of fierce winds to blow between heaven and earth. Chen Xiang's killing G.O.D. heart crazily throbbed. The killing G.O.D. heart's thought of killing had turned the energy in his body into an extremely terrifying killing power. Combined with his G.O.D. slain method, he had an even more brutal strength. Humph! Chen Xiang was like a G.O.D. of death. The killing intent around his body was captivating. The white tiger glove on his fist was filled with killing intent, making him look like a G.O.D. of slaughter. The two clan elders of the Super Yuan Mountain were so frightened by the killing intent that they retreated a few steps, but just as they reacted, Chen Xiang's fist that was filled with killing intent rushed towards the smiling Hou Feixiao. Bang! The fist directly went through the light barrier released by the immortal robe, violently SMAs. HI. Plus ing on Hou Feixiao's nose, causing his entire face to cave into the ground. At the same time, the boundless killing intent rushed out from the fist and poured into Hou Feixiao's body, destroying his body and turning it into black qi. After the fist landed on Hou Feixiao, its power did not diminish at all but continued to sweep through him. It turned into a wave of energy which struck towards Zhang Yanqing and pierced through the silver light barrier before striking him in the chest, instantly killing him and turning him into a black mist. After killing two people, the terrifying murderous intent that had enveloped the world suddenly disappeared. In the past, Bai Xing was so shocked that she couldn't even speak, making her suspect that Chen Xiang was the Battle G.O.D's reincarnation. Right now, she was sure that Chen Xiang was extremely familiar with their Battle G.O.D's ancestor, the White Tiger. When the White Tiger killed people at the auction, it killed them in a single blow, turning their bodies and souls into black mist. Although the two of them were injured, they were still very powerful, and one of them punched over. The oppressive force caused Chen Xiang to be apprehensive. He anxiously stepped onto the shrinking step to dodge, and at the same time, the place had already turned into a huge pit. The S.P.A.C. had already collapsed and was self-repairing itself. What happened? The voice in the air was like a thunderclap, full of an oppressive aura. It's Primordius. Chen Xiang was shocked. The S.P.A.C. in the sky started to collapse, and a person walked out. This Primordius strength has increased by a large amount. Chen Xiang realized that this Primordius was much stronger than before. Grand Elder, your grandson was killed by this person. An elder said angrily. He wore a snow-white robe, and upon hearing those words, his face suddenly changed. He looked terrifying, and an imposing manner surged out from his body. His robe fluttered wildly, causing the earth to tremble violently as cracks appeared on it. His eyes were bloodshot, and anger and killing intent immediately enveloped the area. He wore a snow-white robe, and upon hearing those words, his face suddenly changed. He looked terrifying, and an imposing manner surged out from his body. His robe fluttered wildly, causing the earth to tremble violently as cracks appeared on it. His eyes were bloodshot, and anger and killing intent immediately enveloped the area. Capture him. We can't let him die too easily. I'll torture him for 10,000 years. The angry roar of Primordius was like that of a beast that had lost its mind. Bai Xing had no choice but to take action at this moment. She had previously summoned that little star and consumed a lot of her power, but both she and Chen Xiang did not expect that the mixed element would suddenly appear. Hurry up, leave this to me. Bai Xing sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang, transforming into a white light that swooped down. He waved his hand at the two elders who were Hi+ing towards Chen Xiang. The two energy stars filled with a dense killing intent struck the two elders' bodies, causing them to vomit blood. Aren't you from Zilong Mountain Valley? I never thought that your Zilong Mountain Valley would actually kill my grandson. Both of Primordius's eyes were completely red. With a whoosh, he arrived beside Bai Xing and punched out like a violent thunderbolt towards Bai Xing. Looking at the terrifying force coming at her, Bai Xing was unable to dodge at all. Her body was actually locked on by a kind of power. She lowered her head and saw that her body was surrounded by a bloody red light. When the punch was about to destroy her, in a flash, she actually escaped from the shackles of the red light. He was also shocked, because what suddenly appeared in front of his fist was actually a large broken rock. Chen Xiang felt a splitting headache. He had just used form displacement shadow to exchange for a rock. This consumption was too huge, because Bai Xing was very strong. When Bai Xing was condensing his energy to resist the outside world, he used this technique with difficulty, but he was still able to do it. Catch that brat, don't kill him. I said I would never let him die too easily. He then rushed towards Bai Xing. The two injured elders immediately threw themselves at Chen Xiang. They had suffered heavy injuries one after another, and it was extremely difficult for them to deal with Bai Xing, but to deal with Chen Xiang, they felt that it was still okay. At this time, they could see through Chen Xiang's strength. If Chen Xiang was strong, they wouldn't have been able to dodge them. Bai Xing had not recovered yet, but facing Primordius, she basically did not have the strength to fight back. Chen Xiang felt that he had brought Bai Xing into this mess, and must not let her be injured. He said to Long Shui, "Lend me your God power." Then, he stepped on the shrinking step, dodging the attacks of the two Super Yuan Mountain Elders. After obtaining Long Shui's divine power, Chen Xiang immediately used form displacement shadow to help him once again avoid the overwhelming attack of the Primordius. "Sister Bai Xing, I'm sorry for putting you in such danger." Chen Xiang held Bai Xing's hand, and directly brought her through the dimension. "It's all right." Bai Xing did not blame Chen Xiang in the slightest. She had already treated Chen Xiang as a good friend. When Primordius saw that Chen Xiang and Bai Xing wanted to escape, he roared and the sky darkened immediately, lightning flashed and thunder roared. However, Chen Xiang suddenly realized that he was unable to travel through SPAC, and the SPAC was actually sealed by Primordius with his powerful strength. "Don't even think about escaping from my palm." The voice of Primordius was deep and terrifying. His hair was in disarray as it fluttered about. Under the light of the lightning, his appearance was extremely terrifying. Guessed that Primordius was indeed very close to the strength that the Demon Master possessed. Chen Xiang really wanted to use the Chaos Fire token, but he found out from Lin Shi that the Super Yuan Mountain was able to restrain the Chaos Fire token's attacks, so he did not dare to try it, in case he lost the opportunity. With one step, Primordius walked in front of Chen Xiang and the others. Chen Xiang's and Bai Xing's body was enveloped by that red light and they were unable to move. "Haha! I'll kill this woman first. I want to see your painful expression." Bai Xing clenched her teeth, but she could not do anything about it. The power of Primordius was just too strong, and she had used up a lot of energy, so when Primordius appeared, it was already a miracle that they could or could not do anything about it. Looking at Bai Xing's beautiful face, Primordius smiled sinisterly. "I'll smash your face to pieces first." Boom! However, in the next moment, a gold light flashed, and Chen Xiang also used form displacement shadow, allowing Bai Xing to exchange positions with him. At the same time, he released the profound wood diamond armor, and when the profound wood diamond armor's fist landed on his head, it released a strong resistance force, blocking the punch. Chen Xiang was sent flying. At that time, he held on to Bai Xing's wrist tightly, and Bai Xing, who was locked in place, also flew with him. "It's actually a profound wood diamond armor." Primordius was pushed back by that force. His face was full of shock and his eyes glowed with even more fervor. The two elders had not made a move yet. They did not dare to interfere, otherwise, this Primordius elder would not be so easily angered. Was a little surprised that this Yu Yuan actually recognized the profound wood diamond armor. There were a lot of people who knew about the four symbols divine weapons, but not many who knew what kind of people the four symbols divine weapons was. Chen Xiang was severely injured. He felt that his body was about to melt, and the strong chaotic force of Primordius was still rampaging in his body. "How are you?" Bai Xing hurriedly helped Chen Xiang up. She was surprised to see him clad in terrifying armor. "He won't die." Chen Xiang spat out a mouthful of blood, and then tightly held onto Bai Xing's hand. He planned to use his last bit of strength to send Bai Xing away first and then talk after that. He had already planned to use all of his techniques to fight to the death with this Primordius. "You guys go kill that woman." He suddenly felt that losing a grandson was nothing, because to let him meet this profound wood diamond armor, this was one of the four symbols divine weapons, a very powerful divine armor. The two clan elders rushed forward, holding sharp swords in their hands, and with immortal swords, they stabbed fiercely at Bai Xing. He felt that, if the three of them worked together, they would definitely be able to take down the other party. Just as Chen Xiang was about to use a secret technique to send Bai Xing away, a familiar aura suddenly appeared. At this moment, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time the three of them rushed over, the earth trembled. The power that confined the SPAC suddenly broke, and a few beams of black light shot towards them. "Who are you?" His sinister old face was filled with surprise, but after the two elders of the Super Yuan Mountain were penetrated by the black light, their bodies suddenly turned pitch black and gradually dimmed down. Law of darkness. He took a few steps back and a black shadow appeared in front of Chen Xiang and Chen Xiang. Then, the black shadow slowly turned into an average-looking middle-aged man. Chen Xiang kept his profound wood diamond armor and coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood, then said with a forced smile, "Old ancestor, you're finally here. You little bastard, I will deal with you later. You actually brought this little girl here to mess around." However, he was still very happy to see the clansmen of the Starry Sky White Tiger race right now. Moreover, he could tell that Bai Xing was not an ordinary Starry Sky White Tiger race. The White Tiger wandered around the sacred Dan realm and knew that Chen Xiang had stirred up a lot of trouble before, but now it was in a good mood. It was fortunate that he managed to make it in time, otherwise this rarely seen Starry Sky White Tiger race would have gone extinct. "Who the hell are you? There's no benefit in opposing our Super Yuan Mountain. If you know what's good for you, then obediently leave," Primordius said. The White Tiger's face was filled with anger. The little White Tiger from Starry Sky White Tiger race was almost killed, but the person in front of it was actually telling him to obediently leave. The White Tiger's face was filled with anger. The little White Tiger from Starry Sky White Tiger race was almost killed, but the person in front of it was actually telling him to obediently leave. "Didn't you hear? This is my Super Yuan Mountain's matter. If you don't want to go against my Super Yuan Mountain, hurry up and leave." He knew that this average-looking middle-aged man in front of him was very powerful, but he thought that he should have about the same level of strength as himself. If they were to fight, he felt that he could still defeat him. The white tiger frowned and looked at Chen Xiang, then asked, "What is the Super Yuan Mountain? I've only heard of Chaotic Mountain." "Right, what kind of hatred do you have with him?" Chen Xiang said. "Super Yuan Mountain is a power within the Chaotic Mountain. They want to rule over the entire Chaotic Mountain. This fellow's grandson and the elders from the Super Yuan Mountain wanted to kill me, but I was unable to defeat them." Chen Xiang looked at Bai Xing and continued, "I really didn't provoke them, and they are the ones who want to cause trouble for me. These kinds of people are used to being unreasonable and always cause trouble for others. It's not like you don't know that." "Humph. You killed my grandson, so I'm going to kill you. It's only right and right." Primordius shouted coldly. "Your grandson and the others wanted to kill me, so it's only right that I kill them to protect myself." Chen Xiang sneered. "You should have taken a fancy to my profound wood diamond armor. If I were to strip it off to you, I'm afraid that it doesn't matter how many of your grandchildren you die to." He glared as he threw a palm towards Chen Xiang and Bai Xing, the power of chaos transforming into a gigantic palm print that rushed towards Chen Xiang and the others. The white tiger waved its hand and released a black light, covering the huge palm print. The palm print gradually dimmed, then it disappeared. The power of the law of darkness was indeed very strange. It made Primordius angry. "I only ask you, do you have to kill them?" the white tiger asked. Bai Xing looked at the white tiger's back. She didn't know why, but the person in front of her had a sense of familiarity, but there was a kind of majesty about him, causing her to feel reverent. She looked at Chen Xiang and heaved a sigh of relief when she realized that his injuries were not serious. "That's right, we must kill him. But it seems like I can only kill you now." His eyes were sharp and filled with killing intent as he looked at the white tiger. That killing intent was indeed very frightening, but the one standing in front of him right now was a true G.O.D. of killers, only, he had obtained the profound bead of the law of darkness and was using the power of the law of darkness to attack and at the same time conceal his ident. One tie. Roar! Primordius roared in rage. A silver light burst out from his body and flew towards the white tiger like a silver arrow. "Then I can only kill you." The white tiger raised its hand and drew a circle in front of itself. Black gas immediately began to rise, and a jet-black, heart-trembling black hole appeared in front of it. When Primordial You saw this, he hastily stopped. He also felt how terrifying that hole was, but he rushed over too quickly. He didn't expect that the white tiger's law of darkness could be used to such an extent. He already couldn't escape. After that, the black hole turned into a mass of black chi and dissipated. That black chi carried with it the unique aura of a G-Ro-D of death, which was his own power. Now that he was able to combine the law of darkness with his own killing power, although his cultivation level didn't increase, his strength had increased by a lot. "You are who?" Bai Xing's elegant face carried a trace of timidness. Her head drooped slightly as she asked softly. She only felt that the person in front of her was related to her, and was also very strong. Chen Xiang laughed. "Sister Bai Xing, he is the white tiger." Bai Xing opened her mouth wide, suspecting that she had heard wrongly. She raised her head to look at the white tiger, who had a kind smile on his face as he nodded to her. "There are members of my battle tribe in Sacred Dan Realm. I had told them to look for you before. Although they know where you are, they did not come to find you because they know that you have a better life." The white tiger stroked her head. Bai Xing was extremely nervous at this moment. She felt a little speechless and excited, because she knew that there was still a race in this world that had the same blood as her. The white tiger glared at Chen Xiang. "Little guy, did you ask her to come and help you intentionally so that you could lure me over to kill that guy just now?" "Unjustly accused, I did not expect that guy to appear." I really did intend to lure you out so that you could meet again. Chen Xiang immediately denied it. Bai Xing also spoke up for Chen Xiang. Patriarch, Chen Xiang helped me a lot, don't blame him. This kid is just like this. Oh right, is there any places in your memories that your parents have been to before? Starry Sky White Tiger race has disappeared for so long, I want to know what happened to them in the end. The White Tiger asked. Yes, but in the Heaven Realm's star domain. Bai Xing had not finished speaking when the White Tiger suddenly disappeared along with her. I will look for the traces of the Starry Sky White Tiger race with her, and also go to the Star region to learn something on her behalf. So, you'd better behave for the time being. When the time comes, I won't be able to save you in time. Chen Xiang's mind resounded with the White Tiger's sound transmission. Chen Xiang moaned. This guy is actually worried that I'll bring Sister Bai Xing harm? Am I that kind of person? No matter how I look at you, you look like that kind of person. Su Meiyao chuckled. Chen Xiang used his fastest speed to leave the place and rush towards Zilan Mountain Valley. After getting punched just now, his injuries were not light, and his speed was much slower. In the midst of the beautiful forest, Chen Xiang consumed a few pills to help himself recover faster. Primordius's fist had injected a lot of chaotic force into his body, but as long as he was able to suppress the chaotic force, it would be refined by him. That little girl is awake. Su Meiyao suddenly shouted. Hurry up and get her out of here, talk to her. Dongfang Jing had been taken good care of by Su Meiyao and the others and had changed into clean clothes. When Chen Xiang led her out of the Yuyao ring, she opened her eyes in a daze. After seeing Chen Xiang, Dongfang Jing's eyes became teary. She had not interacted with many people, but the majority of them were bad people. Although Chen Xiang was also bad in her eyes, he was very good to her. Dongfang Jing hugged Chen Xiang, leaned on Chen Xiang's chest, and cried softly. Chen Xiang let out a light sigh, lightly patted her delicate back, and comforted her. Father told me that I'll be the only one left in the future. I want to be strong. Dongfang Jing sobbed. Even though she said that, her tears still couldn't stop sliding down her haggard and beautiful face, making people's hearts ache for her. Chen Xiang laughed. And me and your aunt, if you don't mind, I can be your brother. I will treat you as my own sister. Another sister. She definitely has bad intentions. Long Shui humphed from inside the ring.